I have spent so much time in my life focused on circumstances. Am I going to hear back from them? They didn't call. What if this doesn't work? What if things don't go my way? And I realize, family, circumstances don't matter because they can't matter. And not even to be mean, but circumstances can't matter because in order for us to regulate our nervous system, in order for us to have emotional stability, circumstances can't matter. And they also can't matter because we can't worry about what other people are doing. People change their minds every day about who they want to be, who they want to be with, what they want to do. We can't control people. And when I took my energy back from focusing on those people and those things, once I became that better version of myself, everything I wanted came to me. So think about some areas in your life, family, where you're sending unnecessary energy and worry, and pull that energy back and realize that whatever the circumstance is, not that it doesn't matter, but it can't matter, so that we can be healthy and move about on our day-to-day, becoming better people. Stay inspired. When you look back over your life, hindsight being 2020, aren't you happy that you didn't get that thing that you thought you wanted? Aren't you happy that you didn't get that person that you thought you wanted? Family, everything we want is coming to us. And I know it doesn't feel good when we lose people that we love. I know it doesn't feel good when we lose the job or lose that opportunity, but family, know that everything you want is coming to you. And when you walk the way is made, and every single thing happening in your life is conspiring to make you great. Just something to think about. Stay inspired. One of the lessons I learned is that people don't see things the way they are. People see things the way they are. And I'm asking you, family, how are you seeing things? How are you viewing your life? Is it a glass half full? Is it a glass half empty? How are you viewing your environment? Is it a hostile one? Is it a peaceful one? Because the way we view things matters. The way we see the world matters. The way we see people matters. And you've heard it said before, when you change the way you see things, the things that you see change. And asking you, how are you seeing things? And if you are not seeing them in a good way, that's good for you, good for your life, good for your future, I'm asking you to challenge the way that you're viewing things. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. Here are 5 signs that you are about to be blessed in front of all of the people that doubted you, talked about you, and hated on you. Sign number 1, every single thing that you wanted is coming to fruition. And the same people that talked about you will have to watch you win because it is your season. Sign number 2, they won't see you, but they'll see you. Sign number 3, they used to talk about you, but soon they'll be talking about how they knew you or how they met you. Sign number 4, you're continuing to grow, to improve, to develop, despite any opposition. And sign number 5, doors will continue to open for you from unexpected places, providing opportunities that many individuals do not have access to. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. And when you believe that you can change your life, you start to change who you are. You change your thought process. You even change environments. You change the people you hang with. You change the things that you do because you're at the point in your life where you're making a decision that you want more and that you want to do more and you want to live better and you want to have more. You have what it takes to change the course of your life, to change the trajectory of your life so that you can live an extraordinary life. And I know you do, family, because I believe it for myself as much as I believe it for you. Dreams do come true, but it takes a little bit of action behind those dreams for those dreams to come true. So I'm going to ask you, do you believe you have what it takes to live that life that can be extraordinary for you? Just something to think about. Stay inspired. Here are 5 signs that you are becoming even more important than you already are. Sign number 1, your level of influence is increasing. You are talking and people are listening. Sign number 2, you are becoming an answer to a lot of problems and your ability to problem solve is really making you stand out. Sign number 3, you have been invited to sit at many important tables, but the reality is you're in your own lane and now they want a seat at your table. Sign number 4, you have more of a willingness to serve and you understand that it's not just about you, but it's also about your ability to make a difference in the lives of others. And sign number 5, things are starting to come to you effortlessly, easily. Opportunities are just presenting themselves to you. And you're no longer married to an outcome because you're open to all possibilities. Stay inspired. A lot of times we have these dreams, right? And we put them off because, maybe our life doesn't warrant us following our dream. Maybe we have a situation we're dealing with. But trust and know that that dream that you have will come to pass. And when you walk the way is made every single time, do not allow that dream to die, family. Because sometimes delay happens in our lives. But delay is not a denial. It just means you have to pick up that dream a little bit later. Do not drop your dream, family. Just something to think about. Stay inspired. We get out of life what we think we deserve. For many of us, a lot of our lives is spent stuck in the same patterns, repeating them over and over. And this is because a lot of times we allow our past to dictate our future. But I learned, family, when you're willing to do the things that people are not willing to do, then you get the things that people are not willing to get. And it's at that very point, family, that you believe that you finally deserve more. Because we will never exceed our own self-worth. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. It is very possible to design and live an extraordinary life. And do you believe that to be true for yourself, family? Do you believe that you can design and create the life that you've always wanted to live? Do you believe that you can supersede your belief process? Do you believe that you can have all the things that you want to have? And do you believe that you can do all the things that you want to do? And I know it to be true, and I know it can happen, family. And it first starts with belief in your mind, belief that you can be this person that you know you're called to be. And then it starts with the actions that you take and how you move about in your day-to-day life. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. Sometimes the advice that we get from these leaders, from these bosses, from these managers, although they tell us it's designed for us to become better, it could be designed to keep you exactly where you are. So here are 3 things that your boss does not want you to know. You are probably one of the best employees that they ever had. But if they told you that, then they'd have to pay you more. They assign small tasks to you, small duties, small clients. And sometimes, family, when people see your potential, and they do, they try their very best for others not to see it. You are well liked by others. And sometimes when you're working with a less confident manager, it makes them feel a way that others like you the way that they do. So in this season, family, while you're grinding, while you're working for somebody else, what you can do is continue to be a team player, but understand and keep in mind that you have to find a way to have your exit strategy together and work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. When you decide to do something new and different with your life, one of the very first things that show up is an obstacle. And I learned, family, that there is no champion with no challenge. There's always going to be a challenge. So know that if you see obstacles and things in the way and things blocking your path, know that you're on the right path and keep moving forward because it's all going to work out for you. Just something to think about. Stay inspired. When you think of a mission statement, sometimes you automatically think of a business, right? And a mission statement basically is a statement on why a company exists, right? And some of their goals. But we very rarely think about a personal mission statement for ourselves. So family, I'm going to ask you to think about it. If you had to think of a personal mission statement for yourself, what would it be? What would your mission statement say? My personal mission statement is to help inspire others to live their future in their present. So what is your mission statement, family? You should think about it, write it down, and live it. Stay inspired. I was listening to a podcast and it said, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living. But if you work harder on yourself, then you can make a fortune. And with that being said, what if your income is primarily determined on what you believe about yourself? What if you believe that you are co-creating your life? Because if you believe in yourself and if you believe in your ability to co-create your own life, then it is true for you that success is something that you attract by becoming an attractive person. Work harder on yourself than you are on your job. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. When we look at social media and elsewhere, it appears that being a leader and being an entrepreneur is easy. But here are 3 lessons that I learned when it comes to being a leader and an entrepreneur. Delayed gratification is a good thing. I know we see all the cars, we see all the houses, we see all the money, but what we do not see oftentimes is all of the work that had to be done behind the scenes. Mental toughness is a skill, and that skill has to be learned. When you're choosing to do something new and different with your life, you have to learn how to be mentally strong when you make a decision to go against the grain. The third lesson I learned is success can be replicated, just not that easily. But family, no, just because something looks easy doesn't always mean that it is. My hope is that these lessons will help you to have more realistic expectations of what it takes to be a leader, an entrepreneur, and to be successful. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. And when you get to that point in your life, family, when you are done, right? When you get to that point in your life where you are done, that is the point where you start and do the things that take you to that new version of the person you want to be. It is a whole entire process. Because when I was truly done with the thing, I literally woke up and decided that I now wanted to become someone new. And no one made me do it. I didn't read a manual on how to do it. Have you guys ever had a season where you woke up and decided you were done? And when you get to that point, family, that point of concrete decision that you want to be a better version of yourself and you want to be someone new and you want to do some things new so that you can move towards a new self so that you can have the new life that you're deciding to have, that's when you're truly done. Because we all have those situations in our lives that we could think about like, man, I remember that defining moment in my life where I made up my mind that I no longer wanted that thing, where I made up my mind that I no longer wanted to be that person, where I made up my mind that I wanted to be the better version of myself. The time where you no longer wanted to go back there. You made up your mind that you wanted to move forward and you were going to do whatever it took to get to where you needed to go. When you're done, you're done. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. Anything in your life that you want to grow takes time. As a gardener, when I plant seeds in the ground, right? Sometimes I go outside and I go and look and see if my plant is growing. But there have been so many times that I have planted and not seen any growth, at least not right away. And isn't it like that in our lives? When we're trying to chase success, when we're trying to become someone new, when we're trying to do something new and different, sometimes it feels like nothing's happening. And when challenges and setbacks come, it can be so discouraging because it causes us to give up on our seed and to give up on the thing that we've been working on, which essentially sometimes causes us to give up on ourselves. So family, I'm going to ask you, what are you planting? What are you putting in the ground? What are you waiting on to grow? And I want to remind you and encourage you, when you aren't seeing results, when you don't see that growth right away, know that when it seems like nothing is happening, that is when every single thing is happening behind the scenes. Just something to think about. Stay inspired. A lot of people will dislike you in public, but secretly admire you in private. And today on this video, I want to share with you 4 reasons why, if you appear to be winning, if you appear to be moving forward in your life, when you're operating in your calling, that is hard for a lot of people. So they dislike you in public, but they secretly admire you because when you simply look like you're winning, family, that makes a lot of people uncomfortable because in their minds, they want to be winning, but maybe they don't know how. You're different. Maybe you're going against the grain. Maybe you're moving about life in a different manner than they are. And that's hard for a lot of people. You're putting yourself out there, whether you're starting a business, creating content, anything you're doing to put yourself on a public platform or anything different you're doing in your life than you did before. They don't like that because now you're walking on water. It's because you have an unfair advantage. Maybe you are naturally talented in a certain area. Maybe you can sing or good at nurturing or good at building a family. A lot of people don't possess that. So they naturally feel a way about you for whatever reason. So a lot of these things, family, that's coming to you has less to do with you, but more to do with them. And I know it doesn't feel good to be disliked. If you can take all that energy they're sending your way and use it to make yourself the best version of yourself that you could possibly be, you will have a lot more admirers than you think. Stay inspired. So here are 5 habits that we can stop doing right now so that we can improve our lives. Stop being afraid of failure because the fear of failure is one of the biggest things that holds us back from moving forward. But it is through our failures that we find some of our best successes. Stop waiting to live your life. Take that risk, right? Date that person, start that business, write that book. You do not want to make it midway through your life or towards the end of your life with any regrets, family. Stop holding on to the things and the people that no longer serve you. Stop comparing yourself and your life to others. You don't have to. Everything that you want and everything that you need is coming to you in the right time. And finally, family, stop complaining and start looking for solutions. And understand that everything is not happening to you, but that everything is happening for you. Just something to think about. Stay inspired. So I went to the gym today and I haven't been as consistent, but the reality is I'm mad at myself because I broke the promises that I made to myself that I was going to be consistent. And I'm going to share with you the 3 ways to stop breaking promises that we make to ourselves. The first thing I'm going to do is start small, because the greater the demand we make on ourselves, the more likely we are to give up. And secondly, I'm going to make my promise more specific. That way I can be more consistent. And finally, family, I'm going to watch for my excuses, because if we argue for our excuses or our limitations, we get to keep them every single time. So these are the 3 things that I'm going to do to stop breaking the promises that I am making to myself. And I'm hoping that it can help you too, in case you broke any promises you made to yourself. Stay inspired. I read a quote and it said, "A patient man is always richer than an impatient man, because a patient man can always afford to wait." And I thought that was so good, family. And it made me question myself and say, how are we waiting? How are we waiting for that thing that we want to enter in our life? How are we waiting for that person that we want to enter our life? Because how we wait matters. When we're waiting in expectation, that is when everything good comes to us, and it shortens the time of us having to wait. Ask yourself, if you're waiting for that thing or waiting for that person to enter in your life, how are you waiting? Just something to think about. Stay inspired. One of the realest lessons that I learned is that everybody can't go. And that was very hard for me. A lot of times it still is, but everybody can't go, not when we're growing and becoming a new person. So here are 4 reasons why everyone cannot go. Reason number 1, a lot of individuals look too much like our past family, the person we used to be, the things we used to do. The second lesson I learned, family, is that everyone may not be ready to accept that new version of who you are. It might seem foreign to them. Maybe you were the same way for years and years, did the same thing over and over for years and years, and that's who people came to know you as. And now you're this new person. It doesn't feel familiar. It feels different, and that's uncomfortable for a lot of people. A third thing I learned is that this new you, this new version of self, may be a calling of yours, and everyone can't understand that. That's hard for people to receive. And last, but certainly not least, one of the most impactful reasons that I learned why everybody can't go is because everyone does not deserve a seat at your table, family. And I know that sounds harsh. It sounds harsh coming out my mouth, but everyone doesn't deserve a seat at your table, because some people do not value the things that they did not have to work hard for. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. One of the hardest quotes I have ever heard in my life is, "A wise man once said nothing." And I learned, family, in my own life, the power of silence, keeping your composure, not always responding or giving energy to something. There's a power in that. And there are reasons why, family. One of the reasons is silence puts people in a weaker position because they cannot figure out your next move. Another reason why silence is powerful, family, is because they don't know what you're thinking. They really do not know what you're thinking. And it bothers a lot of people. And silence is powerful, family, because a lot of people expect you to react or to respond, and you didn't, because your silence is proving that you are unbothered and that you are mentally strong. And finally, family, just for me, silence is golden because it gives you a stronger sense of peace. You know who you are. You don't always have to respond. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. Here are 5 signs that you are becoming successful. Sign number 1, your life is transitioning, and in a good way, and you're starting to believe in yourself and in possibility. Sign number 2, people are distancing themselves from you, family, but you are fine with that because you know you're in your own lane. Sign number 3, you have reached a point in your life where you can either stay in the familiar past or move forward to a future that you cannot even see, but that you're creating in your mind. Sign number 4, you're starting to invest in yourself, And when you invest in yourself, you automatically invest in your future. And sign number 5, instead of living cause and effect, you are causing an effect. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. I heard a quote that said, you don't have to get it right. You just have to get it going. You don't have to get it right. You just have to get it going, family. If there is something in your life, right, that you are wanting to do, right? Maybe a risk you're wanting to take, maybe a new job or career or business you're wanting to start. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to get it right. You just have to get it started. I remember earlier on, I said to someone, I said, where do I start? What do I do? And they said, Nicole, you may not know how to build a brick wall, but if I give you instructions on how to lay a brick by brick, the wall builds itself. And family, your brick, your ideas, your thoughts, your decisions that you're making, you're laying it brick by brick. And so you're creating the path that you're wanting. So if there's something that you want to do, don't be afraid to do it, family. You just have to get started. Stay inspired. I want you to really think about this. What are some things, right? The little things that you are doing every single day in your life that's moving the needle forward? Moving the needle forward, getting you closer to becoming that best version of yourself. What are the little things you're doing every day? Because when it comes to high performance, this is called efforts of impact. What are efforts of impact? It's the small things that you do daily, consistently, often, that create lasting change and create the change in your life that you want to see. So I want you to take a look at your life, maybe your daily activities, right? And really see if and how you can make changes to ensure you're doing the things that's going to create change and high impact for your current self and your future. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. This is a really good season to become unavailable to the people and the things that no longer serve you. And I'm not saying cut these people out of your life, right? Stop doing the things that you like to do. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is really take a look at the people and the situations in your life. And if it's bringing you frustration, if you don't like the way a person is showing up in your life, this might be a good season to make yourself unavailable. What does that mean? Pull some of that time back. Pull some of yourself back so that you can focus on becoming the greatest and best version of yourself. Just something for you to consider, family. Stay inspired. When things seem like they are not working for you, keep working. Do not give up. Because one thing I learned is that things are either working on you or they are working for you. Because if you work on it long enough, you become the person whom it will work for. But you're just in building season, right? You're in growth season. It takes time because you're working and you're preparing and making room for everything new and great to come into your life, including the things you're working on. So keep working because it's either working on you or it's working for you. But either way, it's still working. Stay inspired. So I read a quote and it said, there are 2 doors in life. One leads to security, the other leads to freedom. If you take the door that leads to security, you get neither. But if you take the door that leads to freedom, you get both. And one of the lessons I learned in life, family, if we go through life being so afraid to take a risk, wondering, what if it doesn't work for me? What if I fail? What if things don't pan out? Family, if we go through life avoiding every risk, then sometimes we go through life avoiding many of the rewards. Family, please don't be deceived into thinking that the risk is not worth the reward, because sometimes it is. Just something to think about. Stay inspired. So there was a time in my life where I remember I was so sad and I was crying. And someone said to me, they said, Nicole, are you still worried about that? That thing you just went through, are you still worried about that? And one thing I learned, family, is if we're still worried about the things that happened in our past, we can't move forward to our future. If we're still thinking about the failures that we've had, we are not getting any closer to our success. And family, a setback is a setup for something greater. And I'm not just saying it, I lived it. And if you fall and you can still see up, then you can get up. And that's on everything. We have to know that every single thing that we want, everything good, everything noble, everything wonderful lies ahead of us and is not in our past. The past is a reference. The past has served its purpose, but every single thing that we want lies in front of us. But we have to believe it. Whatever that thing is in your life, are you still worried about it? And if you are, ask yourself, is that taking me any closer to the future that I desire for myself? Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. Here are 5 signs that you are chosen to be someone great and to do something great. Sign number 1, you have big problems. And I mean big problems, adult problems, right? But it's said, to whom much is given, much is required. You're always in a position of leadership, always trailblazing, always taking the lead. You're operating in your gift, so you always feel yourself being drawn towards that specific skill set that you've always had inside. Isolation, that's a big one, family, because when you find yourself being isolated, you're really taking that time away to elevate yourself. And finally, family, you just have an inner knowing that you are called and chosen to be someone great and to do something so much greater than what you're doing currently. Stay inspired. One of the things I realized is that there is nothing common about a phenomenal person. Absolutely nothing. And a lot of times we are out here moving like, acting like we're common, and we're not. And I don't say this with any arrogance. I'm saying it to simply say, when you are called to do something great with your life, when you are chosen to do something different, you walk a different walk, right? You move differently. Your essence is different. You are different. There is nothing common about a phenomenal person, and I need you to know that you are not common. Stay inspired. So in order for me to have better days, one of the questions I always ask myself is, if I were doing what I'm doing today, repeatedly, every single day for the rest of my life, would it take me closer to my dream life or further away from my dream life? And it helps me to think about what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. It helps me to make better decisions. It helps me to organize my day a lot better when I ask myself that question. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. What is your unfair advantage? An unfair advantage is a talent or a unique skill that you possess that would not be easy for someone else to replicate. And in order to find your unfair advantage, you have to look for it. So what are some talents, skills, environments, situations that are unique to you and only you? Because these are the areas that allow you to create value and set you apart from the rest. Then you have to do some introspection. You have to go within. And one of the things I ask myself is, what is that thing that I'm willing to work on so much and so often that I am willing to do it long enough until I get good at it? And when you think about your life, your whole life, what are things that people have told you that you have always been good at? So family, if you look close enough in your life, you might just have an unfair advantage. And finding your unfair advantage will truly help you to take your focus off of what you do not have and put your focus on what you do have. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. What is your unfair advantage? An unfair advantage is just something that would be very difficult for someone else to copy. So what is your unfair advantage? You have to look for it. So what are some talents, skill sets, strengths, environments, right? Situations that are unique to you? Because these are the things, right? And these are the areas that allow you to create value both internally and externally and set you apart from the rest. And then you have to do some introspection. And one of the things I ask myself is, what is something that I'm willing to spend years at, right? Getting really good at? What are some things that people compliment me on that I've always been good at? If we look close enough, family, we might have an unfair advantage. Sometimes it can just be really hard for us to find it. And truly the key to finding your unfair advantage is for you to not focus on what you don't have, but to focus on what you do have. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. Who we surround ourselves with matters, family. I heard a quote and it said, "Show me your friends and I'll show you your future." When you increase your friendship circle, you elevate your education, you increase your information, you elevate your knowledge, your ideas, your capacity to become the best, highest version of yourself every single time. Who you surround yourself with matters. And if you look at your friends that are successful by your standards, by society's standards, you will see that their friendship groups are similar to them, right? Similar indeed, similar in the things that they do, in the company that they keep, similar in that they are a tribe. So who are you surrounding yourself with that is helping you to become the highest and best version of yourself? Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. Have you ever thought about what your calling was? And I'm not talking about your purpose. See, to me, there is a difference between a purpose and a calling. A purpose would be more so a destination, whereas a calling would be sort of the roads and the ways to get to that destination. So what is your calling? What is that thing that you can do oh so effortlessly, right? What is that thing that makes you feel good, makes you feel inspired, that people tell you you've been good at your whole life and you agree with them, right? What is that thing that motivates you, that you think about often, that you would rather do as opposed to doing what you're currently doing right now? What is that thing? And family, when you identify what your calling is, you feel more alive. It takes you to that new level of your life that you've been wanting to go to. And getting closer to knowing what your calling is takes you closer to your purpose. So family, I'm challenging you to take some time today to take a look and say, you know what? I know I've always been funny, right? Or I know I've always been good at this thing, or I know I can sing well, or whatever it is. Take some time, identify your calling, because that calling is going to lead you closer to your purpose. Stay inspired. So I was listening to this podcast and it talked about the 3 ways in which people waste their time. The first one is spending time doing the wrong things. And these things usually take us away from our goals or move us more slowly towards our goal. The second thing is not doing the right things. These are usually caused by distractions, the things that distract us and take us away from focusing on the things we need to focus on. And the third way in which we waste our time is doing the right things, just not effectively. And one of the things I learned, family, is in order to sort of be more productive with our time, in order to waste less of our time, it is a good practice to just sit and think about how we want to organize our day, what it would take to move us forward and closer to our goal, and then spend some time in the day doing those things. But by doing these things, you're able to minimize distractions and focus on things moving you closer to being that best version of yourself. Stay inspired. When you change your circle, you elevate your information. Family, I heard a quote and it said, "Show me your friends and I'll show you your future." And I believe that quote is so true because we are the sum total of who we hang with. If you think about your friends that are successful by society standards or by your own standards, you will look in their life and see that their friends are extremely very similar to them. And family, there is nothing wrong with the current friends that we have, but I am challenging you, like I challenge myself, to just increase your friendship network a little bit. Because when you elevate your circle, you truly elevate your information. You open yourself up to new ideas and new people doing different things than you. And you 10x your life to become the best version of yourself every single time. Who you hang with matters. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. It is never too late to become the person that you are wanting to be. It's never too late. And one of the things I always say to myself, I say, Nicole, is it going to be one day or day one, right? One day I'll be happy when things change. One day I'll be happy when I get a better job. One day I'll be happy if I get a better mate. One day I'll be happy if I get more money. Or day one, I am making the decision to change my life. Day one, I'm making a decision to stop thinking about my past, to stop letting my past dictate and control my future. I'm making a decision that I want more for myself, and I want more for my family, and I want more for my life. And I'm making the decision today to figure out a way to become the person that I know I've always been called to be. And one thing I know for sure, family, is when you walk the way is made. So is it going to be one day or day one? The choice is yours. Stay inspired. Here are 5 reasons why you cannot give up. Number 1, you are no longer a product of your circumstances. You are a product of your decisions. So make a decision to stay the course. Number 2, a delay is not a denial. It may feel like things are falling apart, but family, they are always falling together. Number 3, there is nobility in failure. You can learn wisdom 2 ways, through your mistakes or through your mentors. You can always get back up again. Number 4, there is power in doing just one more, taking one more shot, giving it one more try, taking one more step. And number 5, your life is someone's roadmap. The world needs you. They need to hear your story and they need your guidance. And you are chosen for this. Stay inspired. This process that I'm about to share with you, it's called mind storming. So basically what you would do, think of your major goal, and then you're going to formulate that goal into a question. So for example, if one of your major goals is, I would like to have $50,000 more in the bank by the end of the year, then you would formulate that in a question. And then you would say, what would I need to do to have $50,000 more by the end of the year in my bank account, right? And then the second part to this is come up with 20 answers to that question, right? So answers to that question can be, I could get more skills. I could pick up a second job. I could start a business. Just take everything out of your mind that you could possibly think of to answer the question. And really with this process, family, it allows you, 1, to sharpen your mind, 2, to come up with new and different ideas, and 3, it takes you closer to your success and higher income. I tried it. It did work. And what I then did was took those 20 answers to that question and drilled down on those to get closer to my goals. You should try it. Stay inspired. So I want to drop this video real quick because so many people be hitting me up and saying things like, man, I want to make a change, but I'm so afraid of what people are going to think. I want to make a change, but somebody said that X, Y, Z and ... Let me make this very clear. When you are stepping into a new life, when you are coming outside of that comfort zone, nothing is comfortable. And quite frankly, that is the time where you will receive the most criticism. But remember, family, it's not that what people say doesn't matter. It can't matter. It can't matter in this season because you are elevating. New levels, new devils. What a person thinks of you is none of your concern. And half the time, the same people that are criticizing you most likely probably are not doing anything in their lives to make a change within themselves. Everyone is going to judge. That's fine. Let them judge. Let them talk. Give them a show. At the end of the day, all you can do is either make the decision to move forward into a new future or to remain where you are. And whatever decision you make is the right decision for you. You cannot concern yourself with what a person is saying about you or thinking about you. I heard a quote before and it said, when people are talking so much, go so far that you can't even hear them anymore. Keep moving forward, family. Your future matters more than what a person thinks of you. Stay inspired. So I heard this quote and I thought it was so good, y'all. And it said, things may come to those who wait, but only the things left by those who hustle. And I was like, man, that's good. What are we waiting for? Stay inspired. Know that you are making progress, even though it doesn't feel like it. But I was listening to this podcast, and I believe it was Ed Milet who told the story, and he talked about a piñata, right? The kids put the blindfolds on, they have the stick, they're hitting the piñata. So the first kid hits the piñata, it doesn't break. And then another kid comes to hit the piñata, he takes 3 hits, it doesn't break. And then here comes a 5-year-old. And the 5-year-old hits the piñata and the piñata breaks and the candy comes out for everyone to enjoy, right? And so the question that was posed, was it the 5-year-old that hit the piñata to get the piñata to break? Or was it the repeated hits over and over from everyone that collectively got the piñata to break, right? And that's how it feels when we're living life, when we're moving forward. We feel like nothing is happening. When we're doing the same thing over and 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 over again, it doesn't feel like anything is changing. And family, I want you to know that when you're doing something and it feels like you're not doing anything, know that it's all adding up. Know that it's all working together and know that it's all coming together for your good. And you are making progress a little by little, day by day, hitting your piñata every single day until one day you will have your breakthrough. Stay inspired. I think many of us go through these changes in our lives where we're forced with facing ourselves and we have to make a decision. Do we want to be better, right? Or do we not? Do we want to stay the course and move forward? Or do we want to stay where we are? And I've been there, family. And there have been several seasons in my life where I made the decision to stay married to my pain. And what did it get me? Nothing, right? I did not pass go. I did not collect $200. I stayed exactly where I was. And I wasn't living. I was dying inside, looking at everybody else live, looking at everyone else be successful and happy, and watching everyone obtain the things that I thought that I should have, right? And I had a real conversation with myself and I said, Nicole, no more. It was time for me to get up and make a decision that I wanted more for myself because I was worthy. And family, we forget that every day we get the blessing and opportunity to wake up, to be someone new and to have something new and to do something different. And when I started moving forward, there's a saying that my mom always says. She says, when you walk the way is made. And when I was walking my way, things were working out for me. Opportunities started appearing for me out of nowhere. People were crossing my path. There was help sent to me. Finances were coming. Everything was happening. All the opportunities were coming to me. And I learned in that moment, when you love yourself and when you love all of life, you create an equal. So I'm asking you today, like I asked myself, to bet on yourself. You will never, ever, ever lose. Stay inspired. One of the many lessons that I learned in life is sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck, right? If you look back on your life, let's say on a relationship that didn't work out, or, you know what I'm saying, a situation that didn't work out, you're probably happy that it didn't, because you saw and found out of things that you didn't know at the time when you were caught up in it. And family, I know it hurts to lose people. I know it hurts to lose opportunities. I know it hurts to sort of have to start over, but you're not starting over. You're starting anew. And I want you to know that everything you want is coming to you, that when you walk the way is being made for you, and that everything is working out for your good. But you have to believe that. Trust and know that you are on your path and you are on your journey, and all the things that you don't need and that are not good for your life will fall away. And that is how you know you are on your journey to becoming the highest and best version of yourself. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. I was just thinking something to myself. And I think that we as individuals believe in miracles, right? We think and believe that things can happen, but we don't necessarily believe that good things can happen for us, right? When we've been through so much hurt, so much challenges, so much pain, we don't believe that change can happen for us. And family, I want to encourage you today and let you know, like I told myself, dreams do come true. But you have to believe it. And a lot of us do not believe the power that we have within ourselves to make our dreams come true and make our dreams a part of our day-to-day lives. And you have to believe that you have the power within you to change. You have to believe that you have what it takes to become a new, better, and different person, to experience the life that you know that you're deserving of, to experience the wealth that you're deserving of, the relationships that you're deserving of. Whatever it is that you want in your life, know that you deserve it because you're worthy. We have the power within ourselves to do and be anything that it is that we want to do and be. And change occurs when we wake up and decide that we want to make a new and different decision than we did the day before, family. And all of those miracles, all of those dreams, all of those good goals and things that you want can happen for you and will happen for you. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. Sometimes you have to take a step back so that you can take a step forward. I remember when I had quit my corporate job and I went to work as a hair salon assistant because I wanted to learn the industry and get good at my craft before I, started my business. And I remember the same people that I worked with at my company were clients at that hair salon. So here I am quitting a big job. Nobody knows why. They just know I'm gone. I'm not there anymore. And they see me at this hair salon washing hair. So I remember one of the individuals that I work with, I was washing her hair and she said to me, "Oh my God." She said, "I feel so sorry for you." And I'm like, what do you feel sorry for me for? She's like, "That you're washing hair." She was like, "I'm going to leave you an extra tip. Do you need it?" And I'm like, "No, I don't need the tip. I'm following my dream." And it was so hard for her to see that. I learned at that moment, everybody can't see your vision, and that's okay. Everybody can't see your dream, and that is okay. As long as you know that sometimes it is okay to take a step backwards so that you can then be catapulted forward in your life, family. And at that moment, when I learned my craft, I went on to succeed in the industry and dominate. And family, I want you to understand that it is okay to take a step back so that you can then be catapulted forward into your goals and your dreams. Stay inspired. Have you ever heard of the phrase that said, "Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt"? And I used to hear that a lot, especially when I was younger. But as I matured, that is so far from true. Words hurt. They do. But when it comes to criticism, family, we have to not allow what people are saying about us to stop us from reaching our goals and our dreams. Because if what someone says about you takes you out the game, my argument would be that you probably would have got out the game early anyway. Because criticism is the easy part. There's so much more to do on our journey than to concern ourselves with what people are saying. And I've heard the saying before that said, I wouldn't take criticism from anyone that I wouldn't take advice from. And I do understand that, but there is a place for criticism. Maybe what someone says could help us be better and could help us do better. But for all of the naysayers out there that are going against your goals and your dreams and what you want to accomplish for your life, you have to know how to filter out the noise so that you can move forward and accomplish all of the goals and your dreams that are set before you. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. When you're making history, It very rarely feels like that, right? When you're blazing new trails, when you're making changes in your life, when you're becoming a new and better person, when you're changing the world, it very rarely feels like that. You know what it feels like? It feels like work. It feels like a day in, a day out. Sometimes it feels stagnant. Most times it feels lonely. It feels like you're the only one that's on what you're on, because you probably are. When you're making history, it's like you're doing that 1% of something new every single day, and it feels like nothing is changing. But I want you to know, family, that when it feels like nothing is happening, everything is happening behind the scenes. And somebody said this to me the other day when I was kind of feeling away. They were like, you know what, Nicole, you don't know how to build a brick wall. But if I gave you instructions on how to lay each brick by brick, the wall will take care of itself. And I thought that was a very, very good metaphor, family. When we're laying these bricks day in and day out, we may not see it, but we're building. And I want you to remember that you're sitting and you're feeling stagnant, or when you're feeling like you're not accomplishing your goals and your dream in a timely manner. You are, family. Stay the course. Don't give up. Know that the work that you're doing, brick by brick, is laying a foundation for that great, beautiful wall that you are building. Stay inspired. One of the biggest life lessons that I've learned is you do not have to seek revenge on anyone. Instead of concerning yourself with what they're doing, how to get them back, how to get retribution, things you can do, their karma, it doesn't matter. Just know, trust and know that what they did, they've done unto themselves. They have, family. And I'm not wishing anyone bad. I don't wish anyone to suffer. But the reality is, they will hear about you. They will know. Life has a funny way of working itself out. They will see you, but they won't see you. Real talk. They will see you, but they won't see you. Take your energy off of what those people are doing so that you can heal. All you have to do is walk away, move forward, because the best revenge is success. Stay inspired. One of the realest lessons that I have learned in my life is that nothing changes unless we do. Nothing. I have tried to change people, right, to no avail. I have tried to change outcomes and force them. I have tried it all. And every single time I have learned nothing changes unless we do. And you've heard the saying before, when you change the way you see things, those things around you change. And it's true only because we are changing within. But when you are ready to go within and to do the work and to make the changes within yourself, you will realize and you will see that everything on your outside will change only because you changed you on the inside. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. So I read a quote somewhere that said, "You're not what you think you are. You're what you think you are." And I was like, okay, let me read that again. You're not what you think you are. You're what you think you are. And if thoughts are the language of the brain, family, and feelings are the language of the body, then how we think and how we feel really matters and produces outcomes in our lives that are favorable. So you have to think about what you're thinking about on a daily basis. Don't let any thought go through your head unchecked. Just something to think about, family. What are you thinking about today? Stay inspired. So I read a quote somewhere that said, "You're not what you think you are. You're what you think you are." And I had to read it again. You're not what you think you are. You're what you think you are. And family, if thoughts are the language of the brain and feelings are the language of the body, then how we think and how we feel plays a major role in us creating our future, especially in us creating favorable outcomes. So we have to think about what we're thinking about, and we cannot let any thought go through our minds unchecked. So family, as you go through your day today, think about what you're thinking about. One of my mentors said something that was so inspirational to me that I think I'm going to remember it for the rest of my life. And they said, "Nicole, don't watch the clock. Do what it does and keep moving." And they said that to me because I was in a season of my life where I was married to the outcome. What does that mean? When am I going to get this thing? When am I going to get this money? Or when am I going to have more kids? Being married to an outcome really causes you disappointment and grief. And you can't be married to the outcome, because you have to know and have a trust that you are going to get the thing that you want. You have to live in the end state, meaning acting as if that you have the thing or that person or whatever it is that you want in your life. Don't watch the clock. Do what it does and keep moving. And I'm sharing that with you, family, in case any one of y'all are married to an outcome. Trust and know that what you want wants you, and it's going to happen for you very soon. Stay inspired. I used to think if I had more money in the bank or a better career, then I'd be happier. And then I realized, no, you can be happy now. And I think we think as individuals that we can only be happy in the having of a thing. If we don't have that thing or that person that we want, we won't be happy. And then I realized, That's not the case. And I said to myself, Nicole, are you going to continue to be sad and live cause and effect, or are you going to cause and effect? So I decided to say, is it going to be one day or day one? And I've said this before. One day I'll be happy when I get a better mate. One day I'll be happy if I get a better relationship. One day, or day one, I'm making the decision to overcome my feeling state and decide to be happy. Day one, I'm making the decision to change my life. And family, when I started making the decision to change my life, the outcomes in my life changed. And I started becoming truly happy. And the plus side of it was all of the things that I thought I was missing from my life, everything that I wanted came to me. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. When you are creating what you want in your life, you have to see yourself already crossing that finish line. You have to. And it's called living in the end state, knowing what it's going to feel like once you finally obtain a thing or that person, whatever it is that you want. And you do it by consciously creating. What does that mean? That means being deliberate in your thoughts, deliberate in your actions, living in the wish fulfilled, meaning I already have it. It's already done. When those negative thoughts come up, I'm not going to focus on that because what I want is coming to me. It's already done, right? Just something to think about, family, as we go about our day and we're wanting to create new and different things in our lives. Stay inspired. Saying less than necessary is saying a lot, right? Because it gives you an opportunity to see a person for who they truly are. It gives you an opportunity to make observations, right, without emotion. And really, it just gives you an opportunity to see what you're dealing with. I once heard a quote that said, "A wise man once said nothing." Stay inspired. Have you ever been in a season of isolation? And I'm not talking about like a week or a couple of weeks. I'm talking about a season, like months, where you just feel all alone. So let me share this with you, family. My favorite bird of all time is an eagle. But they, like many birds, go through a phase called a molting process. And in that process, they're shedding a lot of those feathers. And they go to the highest mountaintops by themselves. And in this place, they sit alone. Some say they beat their beaks against a rock to break it. Others say that they rip out their talons, y'all, their nails. And in this process, they are vulnerable. They are in pain. And they sit for up to 5 months and they regenerate. And it is said that once they heal and grow their wings back and grow their talons back and grow their nails back, they mount up with a new strength. And they are able to take flight and soar and lock and prey miles away. They are better, faster, and stronger than they ever were before. And how much of a metaphor is that, family, for when we go through a period of isolation where we are all alone, we are in pain, we are vulnerable, right? We are in this phase where we have to be by ourselves to protect ourselves so that we can heal and grow the right way. If you allow yourself to heal and go through your phase of isolation, you come out on the other side. You mount up with new strength. You are better, faster, stronger. You are not alone, family. It is just a season. Stay inspired. Have you ever looked at someone else's life and said to yourself, man, when am I going to have that blessing? When am I going to have that person? Or when am I going to have that career, right? And sometimes we spend so much time getting caught up in the things that we do not have in our lives that we forget to live our lives, family. And I want you to know every obstacle, every loss, every win, everything is adding up, taking you closer to the desire of your heart. It's adding up to bringing you closer to the thing that you want in your life. And family, when it does come, because it will, when it does come, you are going to be so thankful and you're going to be so happy. And you're going to be so happy that you did not get the thing that you prayed for, that you thought you wanted. Family, everything you want, know it's coming. Know it's coming. And when you think nothing is happening, that is when everything is happening behind the scenes. And the biggest life lesson, one of them at least in my life that I learned, is things don't come when we want. Things come when we're ready. Stay inspired. If you knew that you could get what you wanted, and if you knew that you can get who you wanted, how would you spend your day? Would you be spending it in anxiety and lack, stressed, worrying about what they're doing, who they're with, seeing if they saw your stories, checking in their DMs? No. You'd probably spend it fulfilled. You'd probably spend it in peace, right? You'd probably spend it doing the things that you would do had you had that person in your life and that thing in your life. And one of the things I realized, family, and I'm still realizing, is it's not so much the extra effort that we put towards a thing, the extra energy that we put towards obtaining or getting something, but it's truly us coming into alignment with who we truly are. And when we come in alignment with who we truly are, that is when the opportunities appear. So I'm gonna ask you the question one more time. How are you spending your day? Stay inspired. Hey family. So I have always been intrigued by successful people, and not just success in a monetary sense, success spiritually, relationally, career-wise. And I always wonder, what are the things that these individuals are doing that are setting them apart from the average person? And what I learned was they have a set of habits, discipline, and standards that they set for themselves on a consistent daily basis. So family, I want you to take a look at your life. If there is someone in your life that you know of, someone that is alive or someone from the past that you like their life, you like the fruits of their labor, you don't have to recreate the wheel. You can take a look at their life, look at the things that they've done that brought them the success that you would like in your own, model that behavior in your own life, and you will see results. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. So you will know when you are ready to be done with something. You'll know. I remember when I would go to my brother and ask him, like, for example, should I leave this situation? Should I leave this relationship? And he would say no. And I would say, why? And he would say, because you asked. Because when a person is sure about what they want to do, they don't have to ask anyone. And family, there have been several situations in my life that I made up my mind I was done. And I said to myself, screw this. And those are not the words that I used. I said, I'm done allowing people to treat me this way. I'm done feeling like I'm not prioritized. I'm done living in lack. I'm done being broke. I'm done not being where I need to be in my relationship with God. I was done. And when you overcome and you overcome and you overcome, I say it all the time, you become somebody new. So when you're done living in your own life and when you're ready to live the life that you know you're called to live, you will do the things to make the changes to get to where you need to be, family. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. How many opportunities come into our lives, but we don't see them as opportunities because they're dressed in overalls and it looks like work? How many opportunities? And I was just thinking I remember my past. I was so married to the pain. I didn't want to admit it, but I was so caught up, still allowing people who I'm not with, people who are no longer on this earth, individuals that I'm not even around, dictate my emotional state. Right? And dictate the way I feel about myself and how I show up in the world. And I realized good doesn't feel good when you've been through so much bad, when you've been through so much trauma. But opportunities come our way, family. But because we are living in the past, we make excuses. I'm too busy. I don't have the time. I'm just coming out of something. I don't have the bandwidth. Because the reality is what we're really trying to say is I'm too afraid to move towards a future that is unfamiliar because I am used to living in my past because the past feels familiar. But family, let me tell y'all what I learned. There is a difference between what is good and what is familiar. And just because something is familiar does not mean it's good. It may feel good, but it is not good. And I learned in my own life when I overcome and I overcome and I overcome and I become something new and somebody new, my life changes every time. So family, let's stop allowing the past to come and ruin a future that we haven't even lived yet. It is time for us to make the decision to do better and be better and want different and more for our lives. Stay inspired. Hey family, today is a reminder day. Let me tell you why. So I'm busy, right, trying to work. My phone blowing up, text messages. Nicole, voice messages. Hey, Nicole, can you call me back? Hey, Nicole, my daughter in her room. Mommy. And I'm like, if I hear the words Nicole or mommy one more time, I am going to implode. But then I had to stop myself because I remember the days that I prayed for the life I'm living now, right? I remember the days praying for a child after losing one. I remember those days. And family, I want you to spend a reminder day with me because listen, the reality is gratitude turns to expectation real quick when we're so used to having those things around, so used to having people around in our lives that we just oftentimes take for granted. And I want you to take a look at your life and the blessing that you have, the jobs that you have, the people and the things that you have in your life, because things could be a lot worse, family. Just something to think about. Stay inspired. So throughout my life, I have always had a hard time and a struggle with knowing when to let a thing go. Like I will bring a thing back to life. I will sit and stay to my detriment. And I was reading an article one day and it was talking about, how do you know when to let something or someone out of your life? And what they said was, is this person an engine or an anvil, right? So if they are an engine moving your life forward, go for it. You know what I mean? Keep them in your life. Take another lap around the sun. But if this person or if this situation is an anvil, sort of like holding you down or depleting your resources or causing worry, stress, and pain, it would be good and ideal to think of a good exit strategy and a way for you to remove yourself from that situation in a safe and timely fashion. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. When you leave people's lives, they feel it. They may not tell you, but they feel it. If you leave a company, if a company lays you off, if you leave a situation, they feel it, because that is how powerful you are. That is how magnetic and high energy you are. And family, we got to start believing more about ourselves than we do. Someone said to me a while back, I felt used by a female friend. And they said, Nicole, well, if you weren't, you couldn't be used if you weren't useful. And I was like, okay, that's a good way to look at it. But seriously, when you leave a situation or a person leaves your life and it's making you feel sad or uncertain, I want you to know that that was addition by subtraction. What does that mean? That means that thing leaving your life, that person leaving your life made room for something bigger and better to come into your life. And you got to know it. I feel like we're all taught to do affirmations. I am beautiful. I am strong. But if we are speaking with our mouths what we don't believe subconsciously in our hearts, then it's like him versus himself. You know what I mean? I want you to know and believe that you are valuable, and wherever you go, there you are, and everything you want wants you. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. So I remember some years ago, I was in the planning phase of my business, right? So I'm in the house, I'm working on my dream. I'm sitting here putting in the work, y'all. And everybody I know, they are living their best life. She went to Mexico. He threw a house party. They out living their dreams. And it's like, man, I'm feeling super, super lame because I am the only one that's on what I'm on. But I realized as I put in the work, I did just 1% of something new every day. At the end of the year, that was 365% of something new. I'm in a much better place than I was the year before. And so I took the time to build my business. You have volume and time, volume and time. You put the volume in, which is the work, you add the time to it, you're gonna have a good product, right? And I realized, family, that it may not feel good when you're in that season of working, right? It may not feel good when you're in that season of seed time where you're planting your seeds. But if you take the time to do it right, your harvest will be so great. Stay inspired. So have you ever had a situation in your life where things, right, for one time in a long time were just going well? You in your flow state, you know what I mean? You're completing all your goals and your dreams, and things are feeling really good in this season in your life. And then an obstacle hits, right? It's almost like someone just threw a wrench in all of your plans. I want you to know, if this has ever happened to you, you are on the right path. One thing I learned, especially in my own life, is that a delay is not a denial. And there will always be obstacles that try to come in the way of our goals and our dreams. But you are to stay the course, trust the process, and stay inspired. So have you ever had a situation in your life where things, right, for one time in a long time were just going well? You in your flow state, you know what I mean? You're completing all your goals and your dreams, and things are feeling really good in this season in your life. And then an obstacle hits, right? It's almost like someone just threw a wrench in all of your plans. I want you to know, if this has ever happened to you, you are on the right path. One thing I learned, especially in my own life, is that a delay is not a denial. And there will always be obstacles that try to come in the way of our goals and our dreams. But you are to stay the course, trust the process, and stay inspired. So I have spent so much time, effort, and energy responding to and reacting to things that just no longer serve me, things that I didn't need to react to. And I learned that everything does not deserve a response, right? And I learned that I no longer will give my energy to the things and the people that do not show up properly in my life. If they don't show up properly in my life, then I am not giving the time. And it's not to be rude, it's not to be condescending, but we don't have to respond to everything and everyone, y'all. We don't. And sometimes, oftentimes, most times, our response is teaching that person that we are okay with engaging in this behavior. Our response is teaching that person that these are the type of games that we like to play. And in this season, at least in my life, the only game that I'm playing is how to be a millionaire, right? So family, really take a look at your life and see, what am I reacting to and responding to that I just don't have to? What battles are we fighting that we don't need to fight, right? Let's pull this energy back, because it truly is energy to heal, to take us on our journey to becoming better versions of ourselves every time. Stay inspired. So I spent so many years, y'all, focused on circumstances, right? For example, if it's a relationship, I didn't hear from him. Why didn't he call me? I wonder if he's dating somebody else. I wonder what's happening. You know what I mean? Or if it's a career, I haven't heard back. I wonder if they thought I did a good job. Am I going to get a promotion? Just all that unnecessary energy going out. And I realized circumstances don't matter because they cannot matter. And not even to be mean, they can't matter because in order for us to regulate our nervous system, right? In order for us to have emotional stability, circumstances can't matter. And they also don't matter because you can't worry about what another person is doing. People change their minds every day about who they want to be with, who they want to be, what they want to do, where they want to go. We can't control people. And when I took my energy back from focusing on those people and those things, and I got rid of that anxiety and that worry, I took all my energy back, and that was energy for me to heal. And then I realized once I became the better version of myself, once I persisted in the knowing that what I wanted was coming to me, that what I wanted me. Once I became that better version of myself, everything I wanted came to me. So family, think about some areas in your life where you're sending unnecessary energy, worry, anxiety, and realize that whatever the circumstance is, not to say that it's not important, but it can't matter in order for us to be healthy and better versions of ourselves. Stay inspired. Hey family, it is so important that we take seriously the way we allow people to handle us, right? Like looking back on my life, I've allowed people to disrespect me, come at me all type of ways, and I'm not perfect. I've done the same, right? But over time, once you allow people to talk to you any kind of way, once you allow people to come at you any type of way, it breaks your self-esteem, right? It breaks the love and the trust that you have for yourself. And looking back on it, I used to say that I loved myself. But if I truly loved myself, I wouldn't have allowed myself to treat myself in that manner. I wouldn't have allowed anyone to disrespect me in that way, right? And as I matured and as I became better and took accountability for my past actions, I changed. And I decided to set boundaries around my life, right? I set boundaries around my life. I set the tone for my life. And once I set the boundary and the tone for my life, I started to teach people how to treat me. So I want you to take a look at your life. Look at what you're allowing in your life. Look at how you're allowing people to talk to you. Look at how you're allowing people to show up in your life and see if there are any areas that you can strengthen yourself and set boundaries and set the tone for your life as well. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. So it is bright and early and I'm about to do a quick run. But you know what I was thinking to myself this morning as I woke up? A lot of us, we believe that change is possible, but we don't necessarily believe that change is possible for us, right? And I realize, like so many past experiences, so many traumatic events that are happening in our lives cause us to believe that change is not possible for us. Every athlete, y'all, every champion, every winner, before they step foot on any playing field, before they step foot on any stage, they have rehearsed and won that game in their mind, right? So I said to myself, you know what? If I want to change, if I want to believe that change is possible for me, I'm going to rehearse it in my mind so that I can win too. So what did I do? I sat down with a piece of paper and a pen, right? And I started to ask myself questions like, what would it feel like to be happy? What would it feel like to be healed? And I took my pen and I started to write down the way that I wanted to show up in my own life, the things that I wanted to do, right? Thoughts that I wanted to think, things that I no longer wanted to do. And I wrote this down. And as I was doing this, I started to feel inspired and I started to show up in my life daily with more intention and feeling the feeling of being a new and better person. So essentially what I did was I went to the future and I brought my future to my present. And you can do the same thing. Stay inspired. So some years ago, me and my business partner, we owned a hair salon, y'all. And let me tell y'all, we built that thing from the ground up. We put the time in, we put the work in, we put the effort, the energy, the marketing in. So I remember we were opening on a Saturday. That was our first day, our grand opening. And surely the clients would come because we put the work in. Y'all, only 2 clients came that entire day. And I remember just feeling so discouraged, like, man, I wonder if this is for me. We put in the work in, we put the money in, and as we're planning, the money is dwindling. Every day we're losing money. And everywhere I went, y'all, I would see successful salon owners. It's almost like if you want a car, a red car, everywhere you go, you see red cars on the road, y'all. Everywhere I went, I saw successful salon owners, and I kept comparing myself to them. Like, man, I wish I had what they had. I wish I had the success that they had. And then I realized while I was sitting there comparing myself to them, I said to myself one day, I said, Nicole, either you're going to make moves or you're going to make excuses, right? Either you're going to keep feeling sorry for yourself as to why your business is not working, or you're going to do the things to make your business work, right? And the lesson I learned in that is you can't compare your chapter 2 to somebody's chapter 22. We all start somewhere. So while we're sitting there comparing ourselves to people, wanting what they have, if you just stay consistent, you might mess around and surpass all those people that you're admiring. Stay inspired. I want to remind you that what people think of you is none of your concern. It's none of your business. You cannot allow what a person says, what a person does, what a person speaks over your life to stop you from getting where you need to go. And I have a very good friend. We just had this conversation yesterday, and she was just like, someone was talking bad about her, criticizing her for some work that she's trying to do. She said something that was so important. She said, I wouldn't take criticism from anyone that I wouldn't take advice from. And I thought that was really good. If this is a person that you don't know about, if this is a person that has no weights in your life, right, that you are not friends with, chances are it doesn't matter. They can't matter to you, right? And my brother always says, losers focus on winners, but winners focus on winning. And none of us are losers, family. We're all winners. And our focus is to continue to work on ourselves so that we can accomplish our goals and our dreams that we are setting for our lives. Stay inspired. So I love flowers, right? And I really, really love orchids. But every time I would get orchids, I would put the plants in the direct sun thinking that the sun is going to help it to grow faster, but they would always die. And as I started gardening more, I learned that certain plants require more sunlight than others. Certain plants require shade, but what they all have in common is they require healthy soil in order to grow. And it's such an analogy for life, y'all. When we are wanting to grow, we have to prepare. And I look at the mind like the soil. We have to be very cognizant of the things that we are allowing to plant in our minds, and also the things that we're allowing to take root in our minds. And what are some things that take root in our mind? Negative thoughts, things people speak over you, all of that. But growing, similar to gardening, is a hard process. It's dirty, right? It's not clean all the time. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's tiring. There are always weeds, right, that are growing alongside your plants that you're always having to constantly uproot. Like negative thoughts in our minds, we have to constantly think about what we're thinking about, right? And we have to ensure that we're doing this so that we can grow on healthy soil and that we can grow in a healthy environment. So family, I challenge you, like I challenge myself, to make sure that we have healthy growing conditions and we are preparing our minds like we prepare our soil, right, for growth. Stay inspired. The story that we tell ourselves is truly how we perceive the world. I was having a conversation with one of my mentors, and he was like, he said, people don't see things the way they are. People see things the way they are, right? And I had to really think about it. I'm like, people don't see things the way they are. People see things the way they are. And family, our reality, right, how we perceive things is so different than others. Some see the glass half full. Some see the glass half empty, right? It's all on how we see things. In order for our lives to change, in order for our conditions to get better, our situations to get better, our relationships to get better, we have to change our narratives. And I talked about this in a past video where I talked about the movie The Lord of the Rings with Gandalf the wizard. And he was standing on a bridge and something evil wanted to pass. And he took his staff, right, stuck it in the ground, and he said, "You shall not pass." And he meant that with every bone in his body. And family, we got to get like that about the thoughts that we allow to come into our minds, about the things that we allow to come into our hearts, so that we can tell a new story and we can rewrite our narrative. I understand that we are defined a lot of times by our past, or the way people have shown up in our lives, or the things that they have done to us, or situations that have happened. But when we decide that we want to change, when we decide that we want to grow, we have to change the way we see ourselves, because how we see things, who we are, really, really determines our outcome. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. Hey, family, I used to believe that things on the outside are going to make me feel better on the inside, that it's going to take something new and different to come into my life as opposed to me becoming new and different. And family, I learned that until we work, nothing else does. Just something to think about. Stay inspired. Hey family, So I remember going through this phase in my life, just trying to figure out, what is my purpose? So I did this exercise, family. I want y'all to try it. It was really cool. So here's what I did. Okay, let me ask you this. When you were little, what did you want to be? A doctor, a firefighter, a superhero? What is it that you wanted to be when you were little? What about high school time frame? I don't know, between the ages of like 18 and 20. What did you want to be then? And was it the same as what you wanted to be when you were little? And what about now? What are you doing now in your life, in your business, in your career? And finally, family, what do you want to do in your future? And what I did, I took a look at all those 4 phases of my life when I was little, high school time frame, what I'm doing now, who and what I see myself as in the future. And I found the parallels in all of those things. So in everything that I wanted to be in my life, there was an element of teaching, there was an element of guiding, there was an element of leadership, there was an element of creating. And that exercise, family, really just helped me to frame things in my life, frame things in terms of what I want to do and what I wanted to align with. It's really helped me to figure out what my purpose is. I really think you should try it, family. Stay inspired. Hey, family. So I heard this quote and it was very impactful. And it said, falling down is how we grow, but staying down, that's how we die. Are we growing or are we dying? The choice is ours. And I wanted to share that with y'all because I think it's so important to know that we all make mistakes. We all fall short. We all fall down. And sometimes it's hard to get back up. At least I know it is for me, right? But it is in the getting back up, right? It is in the repeating, the repetition, the doing of, the doing over that we grow and we can do things better next time around. Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. Hey, family, if I could share some wisdom with you today, it's to take your time to develop yourself behind the scenes. I think that, when we go on social media or watch television or just in our day-to-day, we see people who are successful or people that have whatever it is that we want. For some, it's a marriage and a relationship. We see married people, she getting engaged, they don't wear the same pajamas on Christmas. You see all that. If it's a career that you want, you see people who are younger than you, getting more than you. What you make in a year, they're making in a month. You know what I mean? And whether this is a highlight reel for people or whether it's their real life, it doesn't matter because there is always practice before any great performance. And family, I encourage you to take the time to work on yourself behind the scenes, away from social media. You know what I mean? Just to take some time by yourself. You don't got to put all your business out on the internet. Everyone doesn't have to know your moves. You can take the time to develop yourself, to become your best self. And when you reappear to the world, right? When you show the world who you are, you're battle tested. You've done the work behind the scenes and you are who you say you are. It is okay to take some time off and to do some work on yourself behind the scenes. You will never fail. It works every time. Stay inspired. Saying less than necessary is saying a lot, right? Because it gives you the opportunity to look at the person for who they are, to make observations without emotion, and it just gives you the opportunity to see what you're dealing with. I once heard a quote that said, "A wise man once said nothing." Just something to think about. Stay inspired. Hey, family. Everything in our lives starts with a thought. Our thoughts determine our outcomes, our future, our everything, right? And I found out that sometimes, when we wake up in the morning as people, we think about the things that we went through the day before, the things that are stressing us out, the situations we're going to have to face today and tomorrow. And what happens is our today becomes just like our yesterday because we can't create anything new by living in the past and living in the old thoughts. And one thing that I found that helps a lot, family, is when you wake up in the morning, you do your morning ritual, whether that's prayer, whatever it is that you do. But one thing that I found that really helps is you lay in the bed, right? And you close your eyes and you mentally rehearse what you want your day to look like. You mentally rehearse the future and you hold that future in your mind of what you want your future to be. And I found that as you do that, you're able to create a new day different from your yesterday. Stay inspired. Hey, family. So on my way to the gym today, I was just thinking it is so hard to not want to quit sometimes. Like when you're doing the same thing over and over and nothing is happening and nothing is changing, you want to quit. But I heard a quote and it said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over, trying to reap a different result, right? And I was like, well, that's kind of like the definition of success, right? The repetition of, the doing of, over and over and over again, trying to reap that result, right? And I was watching an Ed Milet podcast, and he was talking about an analogy with a piñata. All these kids would hit the piñata, the candy wouldn't come out, another kid tried. Hit the piñata, candy didn't come out, another kid tried, till finally a 4-year-old came. He hit the piñata once and all the candy came out. And so the question he posed was it the little 4-year-old child that hit the piñata that got the candy to come out? Or was it the multiple repetition of hits over and over that collectively got the piñata to open and break, right? So when we think that we're doing nothing, when we think that our repetition, our self-discipline over and over of doing the same thing is not creating results, it is, family. So I have to remind myself, like I'm reminding you, when you want to quit, know that your work that you're doing behind the scenes, know that the things that you're doing over and over again daily in discipline, know that you are reaping results. And you may not see it now, but it's coming. Stay inspired. Hey family. So as I was on my way to the gym today, I was like, you know what? When my cell phone is about to die, when it's on 5, 10, 1%, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna hit you right back. Let me go charge my phone. Or if my car runs out of gas, I'm headed to the gas station to fill it up. But I was like, what are some things that I'm doing for me when I run out of gas or when I need charging? You know what I'm saying? So family, I was like, okay, I like to meditate. I like to pray. I go to the gym. I don't like to go to the gym. I go to the gym because my life depends on it. So family, just a thought. What are some of the things that your life depends on that you would like to do more or need to do more of? What are some things that will help you feel better, recharged, gassed up, help you feel good, body, spirit, mind, soul? Just something to think about, family. Stay inspired. Hey family, so I spent a lot of time in my life thinking about the things I didn't have. If I had a better job, I'd be happier. If I had more money in the bank, I'd be happier. If I had a better mate, then I would be happier. And maybe, but then I said to myself, instead of me sitting back being so ungrateful, why can't I just be happy now? And I feel like we feel like as humans, right, that we will be happy in the having of a thing. And then I realized, no, you can be happy right now. So instead of me living so reactionary, instead of me living cause and effect, I decided I wanted to cause and effect, right? So I said to myself, is it going to be one day or day one? Is it going to be one day or day one? One day I'll be happy when I have this. One day I'll be happy when I have a better mate. One day I'll be happy when I have more money. Or day one, I'm going to mentally make up in my mind that I'm going to change my life. I'm going to mentally make up in my mind that I'm going to put things in place to have better outcomes. And as I started to do that and strategize and organize my life, things started getting better for me. And as a result, I became happy, truly happy. Stay inspired. Hey family, so every time I have ever tried to force something in my life, y'all, it left me stressed out, chaos in my life, the people around me stressed out and chaotic because I tried to force it. But going with the flow, and I heard this from Trent Shelton, I thought he said it best, going with the flow is taking action when necessary and letting go when the time is right. Right? It's truly a balance between taking action when necessary and letting go when the time is right. I remember people used to say to me, you know, Nicole, why don't you just go with the flow? And I'll be like, no, I'm good. I'm not going with the flow because I don't know where the flow is flowing. And while that might be true in some situations, it's not true in all situations. Going with the flow doesn't mean you're just sitting back doing nothing, right? But it really truly means you're finding that right balance to let go when the time is right, right? But it really means you're finding that right balance. But it really means you're finding that right balance to take action when necessary and to let go when the time is right. Stay inspired. Hey family, at any given moment, you have the power to say, you know what? This is not how my story ends. It doesn't have to end here. You can rewrite your story at any given time. I have had way more failures, more than I care to talk about, actually. Way more failures than I have ever had successes. And I never celebrated any success. It was through sheer exhaustion that I ever crossed any finish line. You know why? Because I rewrote my story. It may not have started good, but it ended well. right? You can rewrite your story at any given time, and don't let anyone ever make you feel like you cannot. Stay inspired. Hey family, what dreams do you have that you've laid to rest? Like, I just had a family member and myself discuss this. What dreams do you have that you've laid to rest? Like, I have never heard of a person who was on their way to dying say, oh, I wish I would have brought more money to the grave. No, they talk about the things that they regret not doing in their life. What dreams do you have that you put down? Y'all, let me tell y'all something. Y'all know I always say, oh, I'm 41, like I'm much, much older, but I'm 41. And time is really passing by, y'all. With the 24 hours in a day that we have, with the little time that we do have left, I wonder if we could just try a little bit more in terms of waking our dreams up, making plans for the dreams. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how long it takes to come to fruition. It could take you 3 years for that business to start. You'll just be 3 years older, or 3 years older with a business. Let's pick up some of these dreams if we are able to. I understand that everyone's circumstances are different, but for those who are able to, can we just try to pick up these dreams and see how far we can go? Because the hardest part is truly getting started, y'all. And when you see opportunities, opportunities appear. If you see things as challenges, obstacles appear. It's just all on how we see things, and it's all on our perspective. Stay inspired. Hey family, you know, one of the things I learned is a lot of the pain I experienced in my past, if I'm being honest with myself, I brought it upon myself. I made decisions I shouldn't have to. I let people in and I shouldn't. My intuition told me one thing and I went against my intuition. You know, a lesson that I learned is we have to guard our hearts, y'all. Our heart, think of it like this. Our heart has a door, right? It opens and closes, right? We decide what comes in and we decide what we want out. It has a lock with a key. We own the key. Nobody else owns that key to our heart. We do. And so I'm just sharing that with y'all so y'all don't make the mistakes like I did by leaving your heart unguarded and allowing things and people to come in and come out and do as they will. We got to get stronger in protecting our minds, our bodies, and our hearts. Stay inspired. Hey family, you know what? How we feel matters so much, y'all. I woke up this morning and I was a little sad because I had a situation that happened. It just kind of made me feel a little down. And I was like, yo, I got to get out of this funk. So what did I do? I said, you know what? I'm going to pray, of course, but then I'm going to encourage myself. So I started speaking life over myself, y'all, to the point where as I was speaking, I felt better. And y'all should try it. Here's what I said. I said, today is going to be a good day. Good things are always coming for me. I may not be where I want to be, but I'm getting to where I need to be. The day may have been bad yesterday, but today is going to be a better day. I love who I am. I love that I am in touch with myself. I know that things are getting better for me. Everything is working in my favor. Even the bad things are working for my good. I am exactly where I need to be, and I'm on my way to getting to where I need to get. Things are always working out for me. And as I was saying it, I started feeling a little bit better, y'all. I encourage you to try it. I know it might feel crazy at first, like you're talking to yourself, but sometimes that is what's needed to get you from not feeling good to feeling great. Stay inspired. Hey, family. So we're always taught, you know, when we want to manifest something, we should write it down. So if you want to manifest a mate, you know, you want to write down, I don't know, they're God-fearing, handsome, you know, a good person, whatever the case may be for you in your situation. If you want to manifest a career, you want to talk about the good attributes that the company may have. If you want to manifest a business, likewise. But I was thinking to myself, I said, can I write down what I want to manifest in myself, right? Like, if I can manifest these other things in my life by writing them down, surely I can write down good qualities that I would want in myself and manifest those as well. So what did I do? I took a piece of paper and a pen, right? I wrote down, I want to be a higher and better version of myself. I want to be more God-fearing. You know, I want to continue to be nurturing. Just all the things that I want to do to create self-improvement, y'all. It was very, very interesting. You should try it. Stay inspired. Hey, family. So change is very uncomfortable. Don't ever let anyone make you feel like it's easy. It's not, yo. And one of the reasons that it is uncomfortable, one of the reasons that it is so difficult is because when you're wanting to change, you're moving towards the unknown, right? So you coming up out the predictable, everything that feels familiar, everything that feels known, everything that feels good, even if it's a good thing, even if it's pain, everything that you're familiar with, you're coming out of that and you're moving towards something new. And when you're moving towards the unknown, that's scary. But I realized and I learned, y'all, that the best way to predict your future is to create it. And you can't create it from the known. You got to go to that uncomfortable place. Like everything is outside of your comfort zone. You got to go outside of your comfort zone to get that change. And Dr. Joe Dispenza said something that was so beautiful. He said, are you going to be defined by a vision of your future, or are you going to be held to the memories of your past? Are you going to be defined by a vision of your future and held to the memories of your past? And family, I'm deciding to be defined by a vision of my future. What about you? Stay inspired. Hey family. So one of the biggest lessons I learned is you have to let go of what you had in mind about what you think your life is supposed to be. People say things like, I'm 40 and I should be married by now. We say these things to ourselves. We hurt ourselves. Do not hold yourself to any makeshift timetable, anybody's goals for you, for your life. Do not hold yourself to that. Know and believe that you are where you are in your life and you're on your way to getting where you need to be. It is never too late to be the person that you want to be, and you are not behind. Stay the course, trust the process, and stay inspired. Hey family. When you think nothing is happening. So let me share something with y'all. So I remember some time ago I was dating someone, right? And everything was cool in the beginning. We're talking all the time and, hanging out. And so it was one day we had a situation, we had some contrast, and I didn't hear from him. So day one of not hearing from him, I'm like, oh, it's cool, right? It's his loss. It's good. I'll move on. Day two, feeling the same way. But then day 3, 4, and 5, I'm like, what is going on? I haven't talked to them. I'm not going to pick up the phone and call, or maybe I should pick up the phone and call. I couldn't understand what was happening. And I remember calling my mom and I'm like, okay, the guy that I was dating, he was really, really nice, but I hadn't talked to him in a few days and I'm assuming it's over. Maybe he doesn't like me anymore. And my mom said something to me that really resonated with me. She said, Nicole, when you think nothing is happening, just when you think nothing is happening, that is when everything is happening. And y'all, I gave it a few more days. He ended up calling me. He just said he needed to step back. He had some things he was working on in his life, and it just gave him an opportunity to see and identify, you know what? I think this is for me. So y'all, when you think nothing is happening, trust and know everything is happening behind the scenes. Stay inspired. Hey family, I'm here to remind you when you are in a tough season that this too shall pass. I remember being in times where I either had financial situation or relationship situations, and I'm like, am I ever gonna overcome this? You know what I mean? Are things ever gonna change or get better for me? Just know, please know deep in your heart that this too shall pass. It is only a season. Stay inspired. Hey family, so have y'all ever had someone to say something very hurtful to y'all? I'm sure you have, because we've said mean things to people said mean things to us. But I remember some years ago, I had a friend, she's not my friend anymore, but she said to me during an argument, she said, Nicole, you will never be anything more than you already are. She said, your ship has sailed. You will never, ever be anything more than you already are. And I remember, y'all, it hurt so deep because it's like, yeah, words hurt, but the fact that it came from a person that I thought truly loved me. And y'all, it bothered me for so long. And she said it in a season that was not strong for me. I was in a very shaky season. Today, y'all, I have a sign in my bedroom and it says, remember today. Remember today. And it reminds me that I can create a new today. It reminds me that I can rewrite my story and I can change my narrative at any time. And I know words hurt, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it cannot matter. Family, I encourage you to have a reminder in your house, in your car, you know what I mean, your phone, wherever you are, that reminds you that you can create a new day, any day. Stay inspired. Hey family, one of the hardest things I ever had to do was change, y'all. Change. It's so hard because it's like every time I try, there's something that happens that pulls me back to who I used to be. And then there are people who say things like, oh, you'll never change. You'll always be the same. Have y'all ever went through that? And it's like, I'm trying my best every day to do and be something different. And it's hard. And then I decided one day to mentally make up in my mind that I was going to change. So what did I do? I quieted the noise. And I woke up every day and decided, you know what? I'm going to try to make a different change and a different decision than I did the day before. And when I would fall back, I would get back up and start again. And as I'd overcome, one day I woke up and became somebody new. And I'm still doing it. I challenge y'all to do the same. Stay inspired. Hey, family. You know, one of the things I've realized and come to accept, I might be a villain in somebody else's story. Real talk. Like, I might be a villain in someone else's story. It's not always them, it's me. If I'm really taking a look at my life and taking actual inventory of the part that I played in a thing, I can safely conclude it wasn't always them. And family, when we're trying to grow and be a better version of ourselves, we have to take inventory of our lives. Look at the part we played in anything, right? Accept it, take responsibility for it so that we can be better, because it's all about growth. Stay inspired. One of the things that I notice is the level of negative self-talk that we do within our own selves, right? So, for example, we'll say things like, oh, I'm so stupid, or I can never remember names, or I'm horrible at math, or you know what? I don't think I'm cut out for this type of a job. Your brain is a superpower. A supercomputer. And it is listening to and processing every single thing, mainly the things that we're telling ourselves. So some techniques that I've used when I have negative self-doubt is, number one, just believing and knowing that everything that we tell ourselves is not the truth. And we don't have to believe everything that we think. We don't. Just because we think something does not make it true. Just because we think something does not make it real. Stay encouraged. Hey, family. No is a complete sentence. Here's why. One, it gives you the ability to create the boundaries that you need around your own life. And two, because you said so. Stay inspired. Hey, family. So I woke up on this beautiful day, right? And I got upset thinking about something that happened to me the day before. Somebody did something to really try me. And as I was thinking about what they did to me, all the negative feelings associated with those emotions came. And then my day today has literally been like my day yesterday. And I read somewhere that 90% of our thoughts are the thoughts that we had the day before. And if our thoughts are the thoughts we had the day before, then there literally is no room to change, and there's no room to create something new. So I challenge y'all and myself, right, to think thoughts, to think about what we're thinking about. And don't let any thought go unchecked so that we can have good days ahead. Stay inspired. Hey, family. So I'm just getting back from the gym not too long ago. This is why I wear my hair pulled back, because if I didn't, it would look a mess, right? And so some of the same individuals that I started off on my workout journey with, who are in the gym, they put a little bit more effort than I did, right? Put a little bit more dedication, and they're a lot further along on their fitness goals than I am. And I always had a reason. Oh, I can't be in the gym every day because XYZ. Or I have to do work, or I got to do something with my child. It's always a reason that I put ahead of my workout goals. And now, as months pass, I like how I look, but I could have been a lot further had I put in the work. And it's such a metaphor for me. It's like, you know, when you work on yourself, when you are consistently doing so, when you are focused and consistently doing so, you really reap the results. And just like losing weight, you know, you're not going to see it the same day. You're not going to see it in a week. But after some time, you're going to be like, oh, I look good. And it's going to motivate you to want to do more. So family, what area in your life can you push yourself just a little bit more? Be a little bit more focused, a little bit more dedicated, and a little bit more consistent, right? Stay inspired. Hey, family. So usually at a basketball game, you'll see a player on the free throw line trying to make the shot, right? And then you'll hear people in the back in the audience booing them. Kobe Bryant once said, boos do not stop dunks. Y'all, it doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter who has opposing opinions on what you should be doing. It doesn't matter your opposition or who's trying to stop you. Boos don't stop dunks. This is not the time for us to lose our heads, and we can't concern ourselves with what people are saying about us that want to make us stop or miss the shots that we need to take, because we still have to take the shot, y'all. Stay inspired. Hey family, so this might be one of the realest lessons I have ever learned in life, y'all. You gotta let people do what they want to do, right? Like, you got to let people do what they want to do. You cannot control people. You cannot want for others what they don't want for themselves, right? You can't be poor enough to make a poor person rich. You can't be sick enough to make a sick person well. You have to let people do what they want to do and be who they want to be, because the only thing you can change is you. The only person that you can change is you. And when you leave people to be and do what they want to be and do, you see what it is that they want to be and do, right? All we can do is focus on making changes within ourselves. And when we change the way we see things, the things around us change. Stay inspired. Hey family. So I love movies, right? And there's a scene in the movie The Lord of the Rings where Gandalf, the wizard, he's standing on a bridge, right? And so this evil monster is coming towards him and advancing to chase and follow them. So he has his staff. He takes his staff, sticks it in the ground and says, "You shall not pass." And y'all, he meant that with every bone in his body. And it led me to think, like, we got to get like that about the thoughts that we allow to come in our mind, about the situations and the people that we let in our lives, right? We have to do a better job, at least I know I do, to guard the gate of our mind, guard the gate of our hearts. You shall not pass, and mean it. Stay inspired. Hey family. So when I was in college, I majored in IT, and I ended up having a difficult class. I failed it. So I go to the teacher, I talk to her, and I'm like, "Hey, I got a 69.5. I'm wondering, can you round my grade up? Because if you don't, I'm gonna lose my scholarship and things will be bad for me." So I start to cry. Y'all, there's a box of tissues on her desk. She reaches for the tissue. I'm thinking she's gonna pass it to me to wipe my tears. No, she blows her nose. And I get up, start to continue to cry, of course, and then I walk out the room. And she says, "Hey, Nicole, turn around." I turn around. She said, "You got a 69.5. I'm not rounding your grade up because you got the grade you deserve. I'm sorry you're going to lose your scholarship, but you can re-enroll in my class next semester. And by the way, IT may not be your thing. I think you're a good communicator. You should try that avenue." So y'all, I re-enroll. I get a B. I pass her class. But the lessons I learned is, one, she was right. IT wasn't my thing. I was a better communicator. Two, no one has to do you any favors. Like, she did not have to round my grade up. I got the grade that I deserve. But three, most of all, I learned that there is nobility in failure, because had I not failed that class, I would not have learned the lessons that made me the person that I am today. Stay inspired. Hey family, I think it's so important to keep the focus on improving, not impressing, right? Improving, making improvements in your life, making improvements on yourself. I feel like it's so many things that we put out there prematurely, right? Before they're battle tested, or before we have a chance to, tweak them or make them better or refine them. There are things in our lives that we should keep in the dark while we're working them, and then we can present them to the world when we get ready. Not because we feel forced, not because we feel like we have to, not because we want to feel good or relevant. No, we have to build ourselves behind the scenes. So when we do present ourselves to the world, we're battle tested. I was watching a video a while back from Nino Brown, and he said sometimes it's good to just disappear and get rich. And it really is, y'all. Take the time, better yourself, work on yourself. You're going away from social media for a few months or a few days, everybody will still be there. The same videos you're looking for will still be there. Everything will still be in place. But it's so good to take the time to step away, to build yourself and to improve and not impress. Stay inspired. Hey family, let me remind you, you can write a new story. It doesn't matter who you used to be. It doesn't matter what you did. It doesn't matter what you did yesterday. Today is a new day. You can write a new story. A lot of times people hold us to our past, right? "Oh, I remember when you did this to me," or "I remember when you did this to so-and-so." But that doesn't mean that's who you are today. You can rewrite a new story. And I'm going to say this again. It does not matter what people think of you. because it can matter. Because concerning yourself with what people think of you is holding you back from being great. Like when you think of the highest and best version of yourself, that person is not concerned with what people are saying about them. I read a quote somewhere that said, like, if people are saying that, you know what I mean, you're not good enough, get so far away in ahead that you can't even hear what they're saying. It doesn't matter. What matters is you looking at your life, right? Identifying the areas that you could do better. Identifying the changes that you want to make and get busy making those changes to be better. You can rewrite your story, y'all. I've done it plenty of times. You don't have to be the person that you currently are. You don't have to be the person that you used to be. You can be a better version of yourself every time. Don't let anybody hold you to who you used to be. Stay inspired. Hey family, have y'all ever been humiliated, embarrassed? All right, so let me share my story. So some years ago when I was first starting out, like in the work world, I remember I was doing what's called a focus group, and that you go into the company, you assess everything, you bring back recommendations on how they can be better. So we're sitting in a room before the meeting gets started, and I'm supposed to be at the front, but I take a seat, like, you know, in the general seating area. So this lady comes in the room and she's looking at me like, and I'm like, why is this lady looking at me like my whole being is irritating her soul? So she says to me, she says, ma'am, and mind you, I'm the only African American in the room. So she says, ma'am, I say yes. She says, I'm sorry, if you're looking for the restroom, it's down the hall to the left. We're going to have an important meeting in here. So at this point, I'm embarrassed, right? Like, I'm like, what is happening? Why is she talking to me this way? Okay. My response to her was, oh, I understand. I'm not looking for the restroom. I'm in the right room, right? So she goes, she leaves, she comes back with someone. I deem it's like security or whatever. It's right around the time for the meeting to start. Y'all, I get up, I go to the front of the room and introduce myself. You should see the look on her face. And of course, it's followed by, I am so sorry, you know, blah, 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 blah. Let me tell y'all something. You know what lesson I learned? Sometimes we are commanding rooms that people may not agree that we should be leading because we're leaders. Stay encouraged. Hey family, I want to remind you of something. We only get one life. One life. If there is something that you are wanting to do, start a business, you know, whatever it is that you are wanting to do that you are putting off, I want you to pick that thing back up. You can't worry about, what is someone going to think of me? What are they going to say? What if they don't like it? Whatever it is that you are wanting to do, and you have the ability to do it, you should do it. We only get one life, y'all. Time is passing. We can get money back. If relationships fail, we can get relationships back, right? We can redo a thing. We can fix and right some of our wrongs, but we cannot get time back. That is the one thing that we cannot get back. So with the time that you have, use it wisely, family. Stay encouraged. Hey, family. So not too long ago, I went out with some friends, right, just for some drinks, and we were just talking about life and catching up and things like that. So they said to me, they were like, you know, Nicole, this is before I was posting these videos. So they were like, Nicole, you know, why don't you post? I feel like your average post is like once a year, which it was once a year. So they were like, you know, why don't you post? You should be more on the gram. Like, I feel like you do such great things in your real life. Why don't you let the world know? And if you don't let the world know, you're probably considered lame, right? Okay, y'all. So let's unpack some of that. One, from my perspective, from me, right? No judgments cast to anybody else. I feel like your in real life should be as good as, if not better, right, than your social media life. I feel like sometimes, like if I get on social media, let's say, I don't have enough money. Then every time I log on to social media, I'm seeing people with money, traveling, doing the most. So I go down all these rabbit holes, which makes me feel bad about myself. Let's say I'm in a bad marriage. I go on social media. Everyone's perfect. Everyone's in a good marriage. They taking pictures in pajamas. Everyone got matching pajamas, whatever the case may be. But I feel like in real life, me not posting, me taking that time away just to focus, clear my mind, gave me the opportunity to get my life together in real life, to get my life together in real life. So that way, when I did present myself to social media, I was in a good place. So I could look at someone who has what I deem that I don't have and not feel bad about it, and actually congratulate and feel happy that they have what they have, knowing that mine is coming to me. So I really believe that in real life is more important than social media life. And it's really good and dope if your social media life is great. But just remind yourself, right? You want to be solid within. Stay encouraged. Hey, family. So someone asked me, they said, Nicole, do you have any regrets? And I had to really think about it. Like, I don't think I have any regrets. There's nothing. I mean, I guess I could think of things I could do differently, but if I did anything differently, then I wouldn't be the person that I am today. And just changing one thing in my past would just really change the course of my future and my life. Do y'all have any regrets? And if you do have any regrets, would you go back in time to fix anything? And if you did go back in time to fix anything, what outcome do you think you'd have? Do you think your life would be drastically different than it is? I want to know. I'm curious. Stay inspired. Y'all, I want you to take a look at your life, take inventory, and look at the areas where you could put something to rest, right? Close the coffin on it, forgive, let go, and heal. I remember for many years, I had a somewhat of a strained relationship with my father. And when he passed, I still had a lot of unresolved feelings. And as I thought about it, as I get older and mature, I'm like, I could have done that so much better and so much differently. But I'll never have that opportunity to fix it. So if there's someone in your life that you're close with, that you love, that the situation can be resolved, I do understand all situations cannot be resolved. And in some cases, you should walk away from a situation. But regardless of what, can you heal from it for you? Can you let it go for you to make you? You're not letting anyone off the hook. You're doing it for you. Just something to think about. Stay inspired. Hey, family. I remember when I went through a divorce and it was final, like finished and over. I remember feeling like, who am I? Like, where do I start? My last name is different. My friend group is now different. Like, I'm taking care of baby by myself in the house. And I remember having a hard time trying to figure out who I was. Have y'all ever been there? And maybe it wasn't a divorce for you. Maybe it was the loss of a job, or maybe the loss of something that you found heavy identity in, that you couldn't figure out who you were if you didn't do it anymore. And I say this as encouragement to say, you are who you are, regardless of what you do, regardless of what you had, and regardless of where you've been. You are who you are. And that who you are is a good person. Stay encouraged. Whenever I hear a quote or a saying that resonates with me, I'm always writing it down, right? I'm taking inventory of it. I'm keeping it in my mind. I'm putting it on paper and keeping it in my purse or keeping it in front of me so that if I have a sad day or I need motivation, I can look at it. And it's like everywhere I go, I hear good quotes. I hear quotes from people. I read quotes from the internet. I find quotes from different places. What are some of your favorite quotes? Do y'all do the same thing? Like, if you hear a quote, you're like, oh, okay, that's dope. Or if you hear someone say something, you're like, oh, I got to write that down. Like, don't quotes motivate and inspire you? Am I the only one? Let me know. Somebody once said to me that you can learn wisdom two ways: through your mistakes or your mentors, right? And I've learned wisdom both ways. However, I've learned more so through my mistakes. Okay, wisdom and quitting. Quitting is not an option, ever, for me. It's not in my vocab. It's never been. We're not going to stop. We're going to keep moving forward, right? But quitting while you're ahead is absolutely not the same thing as quitting. They're two different things. If you don't intuitively feel good about something, right? If you feel like whatever you're going to enter is not going to do well, it doesn't feel good. If you're dealing with a person and you're just collecting red flags and you're seeing things going in a certain direction or a pattern and it's not changing, it's probably a good sign to quit while you're ahead. It's not the same as quitting. Stay encouraged. Today is celebration day. We're celebrating happy marriages. We're celebrating small wins. We're celebrating getting out of things we needed to get out of. We're celebrating new starts. We're celebrating our families. We have to celebrate ourselves. I know that we spend time celebrating other people, and that's amazing. It's so selfless. It's so great. But let's celebrate ourselves and know that we are winners. And I know so many people say things like, well, if I look back on my life, I don't really have much to celebrate. I haven't really done anything. That's not true. You're doing enough to keep yourself going, and you're living, so you're doing something. And you're going to do more because your season is coming. So celebrate yourself and be thankful for yourself. What does Snoop Dogg say? I want to thank me for me. I want to thank me for all the, what do you say, cold days, hard nights. Thank yourself for yourself and celebrate yourself. It really matters. Stay encouraged. One of the things that I notice is the level of negative self-talk that we do within our own selves, right? So, for example, we'll say things like, oh, I'm so stupid, or I can never remember names, or I'm horrible at math, or you know what? I don't think I'm cut out for this type of a job. Your brain is a superpower, a supercomputer. And it is listening to and processing every single thing, mainly the things that we're telling ourselves. So some techniques that I've used when I have negative self-doubt is, number one, just really being aware. Being aware of the things that we're saying. When we say something out of our mouth like, I'm so bad at this. Nope, catch it. Like, wait a minute. I'm not bad at that, right? Let me stop telling myself that, right? Because if you continue to tell yourself you're not good at something, then what? You won't be good at it, right? Because if you want to argue for your limitations, right, you get to keep them every time. And we're not limited to anything. So be self-aware and keep in mind the things that you're saying to yourself, whether on a conscious level or on a subconscious level. That way you can correct it and start saying better and more positive things to yourself. Another thing that I do to help me to stop the negative talk is believing and knowing that everything that we tell ourselves is not the truth. And we don't have to believe everything that we think. We don't. Just because we think something does not make it true. Just because we think something does not make it real. So when we're telling ourselves things like, oh, I'm not beautiful, I'm overweight, that may not be true. Maybe we just need to work on the self-concept that we have of ourselves, within ourselves. The way we speak to ourselves, the way we think about ourselves is so important. Stay encouraged. What fears are holding you back from doing what you want to do? What are the fears? Here's a good exercise. Write them down. I'm too young. I'm too old. It doesn't make sense. I'm afraid to leave. I'm afraid to stay. What are my kids going to do? I don't have the money to do it. I don't have the resources to do it. Write all of your fears down on a piece of paper, every last one of them, until you run out of things to write. Take that piece of paper, pray on it, ball it up, throw it away, and do what you have to do afraid. You have to do it. I remember I was having like a very tough situation happening in my life. And I was talking about how I was just going to move on from the situation and go on and get where I needed to be. And my mother said something to me so profound that to this day I still think about it. And she said, you can't get there from here. You can't get there from here. You have to fix here. And there comes here. Remember that. Family, take this from me. Stop telling everybody your goals and dreams. I remember when I graduated from school and I was working at a big 4 company, right? And I was like, oh, I want to start a hair salon with my homegirl. And so some people were like, oh, that's stupid. So you went to college, you got a good job, and you're going to do what? Be a hairstylist? Why would you do that? It's the dumbest thing you could ever do, Nicole. And I felt insecure about a lot of the feedback I was getting from people, but like, what if I really listened to them? Then I never would have had such a wonderful chapter of my life, yo. You have to follow your dream, even if it seems stupid, even if it's something that someone doesn't want you to do, even if they don't believe you're good enough to do it. It doesn't matter. Follow your own dream and blaze your own trail. A lot of us are out here moving like, acting like we're common. We're not. There is nothing common about a phenomenal person. You're not a commoner. We have to change our actions. We have to change our behaviors. At least I know I do. When we're moving to higher levels, higher states of living, better involvement, better interactions, better people, better quality people, we can't act the way that we act, and we can't behave in those ways because we're not common. Hey family, I woke up feeling so overwhelmed. Like yesterday I got nothing accomplished like I wanted to, and then I woke up today with so much on my plate, and I already haven't got nothing accomplished yesterday, so it means I have double things to do today. So I was like, okay, how can I get out of this rut? I tried to do, I am wonderful, this is a great day. It didn't work. Then I prayed and I was like, okay, I didn't get the answer from God that I was looking for immediately. So what I'm gonna do, I called my brother. He didn't answer his phone. So I'm like, okay, how am I gonna get some sort of sense of perseverance or some motivation? So I wanted to take a nap, couldn't do that because I gotta stay awake because I'm busy. So I love to read, and I have a book, I'm gonna show you. It's called Long Walk to Freedom by Nelson Mandela. And as you know, he had this like unrelenting pursuit for racial equality. And there's a part of the book, a poem, a saying that I have committed to memory. And I want to say it to you to offer motivation because it certainly helped me this morning. So hopefully I don't chop and screw it. But the quote or the saying says, I have walked this long walk to freedom. I have tried not to falter. I have made missteps along the way. But I have discovered a great secret that after climbing a hill, there are many more hills to climb. I have taken a moment here to rest, to steal a view of the glorious vista that surrounds me, to look back on the distance I have come. But I can only rest for a moment, for with freedom come responsibilities, and I dare not linger, for my long walk is not ended. And I was like, okay, I feel better. Like I got perseverance, I got some motivation, whatever I can tackle today, I can. If I can't, then I can't, and it is what it is. So hopefully that motivates y'all. Stay inspired. Hey family, I remember being in a season in my life where I was just not at my best. I was people pleasing. I was so concerned with what people thought about me, right? I would do things for acceptance. I would do things for approval. And at the same time, while I'm doing these things, I would watch everybody else win, right? And don't get me wrong, I had my fair share of successes in life, but I spent so much time watching everyone else win until I got to a point and I said, you know what? While I'm watching them, they're watching me. And family, you have to understand your value and your worth when we're sitting back watching others win, when we're sitting back looking at social media, looking at people's pages, wondering what they're doing, wondering where they're at, and not realizing that the same people and individuals that we are looking at are trying to model themselves after us. And I feel like sometimes we just don't see our value. We don't see the power that we have in our lives. We don't understand that at the same time, at the same day that we're watching others do their thing, we are doing our thing. So I wanted to make a video today just to discuss, know that they're watching you. And while they're watching you, give them a show. I say give them a show, family, because at the end of the day, you are great. We don't see it. Sometimes we don't see our greatness. I remember when I was going through a very tough time in my life, right? And when you're going through a challenging time, you think more thoughts and more negative thoughts and things accompany that. And then your body starts telling your mind how to feel. And it becomes this vicious cycle of things just happening over and over and over again. And I had to learn how to take my mind back. I had to learn how to take control back, take my mind back, right? Take my mind off of the negative things that was happening to me, take away the negative energy and start living my life and knowing since they are watching, I'm going to give them a show. Because I realize, family, a lot of times people are waiting for you to fail, right? They're waiting for you to fail. And I know that seems negative and I know that sounds harsh, but a lot of people are waiting for you to fail. They are. A lot of times people will leave your life and say things like, you'll never be anything. You're the best part of your life is behind you. I was the best thing that ever happened to you. You'll never find another person like me. But the reality is, no, they'll never find another person like you, right? And when it comes to personal development, when you continue to work on yourself, when you continue to do the things that make you great, when you continue to move forward and live a life intentionally and consciously, you are living a best life. And when you create your life with intention, right, and you move away from creating a life based on default, no, you're moving forward, and they're all watching, and they're mad because you didn't stop. You never, ever stopped. You kept moving forward the whole time. It didn't matter if it was a loss of a job, a breakup, a health situation. You decided that you were going to keep moving forward, even though it hurt. Tell me I'm lying. I'll wait. Let me know if I'm lying. You kept moving forward. You know why? Because you made the choice and you made the decision that you wanted better. And I remember having a moment in my life where I looked myself in the mirror and I said, do you want this life? Do you want to continue to live in a familiar past? Do you want to keep thinking about all the negative things that happened to you, all the people that did you wrong, all the bad situations that are coming? Or are you going to move forward and create something in your life that you know is best for you? Are you going to move from this familiar past and move into a future that is unknown? Or are you going to stay in your same current situation and live in a life of frustration, lack, and poverty? And I decided that that is not what I wanted. And I know you're making that decision too, family, because while they're watching, you're going to give them a show. They're not going to see you sad. They're not going to see you down. They're not going to see you wanting for anything. No, what they're going to see is the new version of you, the person that you always knew you could be once they left your life, right? The person you always knew you could be once you got out of that situation or out of that job. Family, they're all watching. Every last one of them are watching, and they're watching because they're waiting for you to fail. But you won't, and you have not. You know why? Because you're deciding to go from a predictable past to a future that you can create with your mind that will be better than anything you've ever been through. You're deciding to make a decision that you want more for yourself, that you want more in your life, and that you're going to do the things that it takes to get you to where you need to be. That's the decision that you're making. And family, we're no longer going to continue being sad all the time, living in this negative thoughts and these negative energies as if we don't have the same amount of time that someone else does, acting as if we don't have the ability to do the things we need to do. And I know that there are individuals that, aren't able to do the things that they believe they need to do based on circumstances. But for some of us, circumstances don't matter because they can't matter. And they can't matter as you're moving forward to create a bigger and better life. And not only are they watching you, you are watching you, right? Which is more important? You are watching you. And one thing that I told myself that I'm asking you to do for yourself is you look yourself in the mirror and you say, I'm no longer breaking the promises that I've made to myself. You're no longer breaking the promises that you made to yourself because you don't have to. You're no longer disappointing yourself. You're no longer not doing the things that you know you're called to do. You're no longer allowing them to win. You're not. You're no longer allowing them to win. While they are watching, you're putting on a show. What are you doing? Moving on. What are you doing? Overcoming, right? What are you doing? Learning, educating yourself, gaining skill sets, becoming knowledgeable. What are you doing? Becoming a better person. You're becoming a better person every single day, every single time. You're making a decision to become a better person. And family, when I looked myself in the mirror and I said, you know what? I could be better than this. When I looked myself in the mirror, I said, you know what? A delay is not a denial. And just because I'm in this feeling state of sadness or in this feeling state of disappointment does not mean that the rest of my life has to be this way. So I'm going to give my hurt and my pain an end date. I'm going to decide how long I'm going to be sad. And one day when I wake up and decide to be happy, when those negative thoughts come, I'm going to keep it moving. Because family, as you are becoming a new person, as you are doing the things that it takes to get to where you need to be, it all is a choice, right? And what has changed? Change is making a decision, waking up and making a decision to decide that you want to do something new and different on the next day. Making a decision and deciding that you want more. They are all watching. Give them a show. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they tell you about yourself, that you'll never do this and you'll never be that. It doesn't matter, because it can't matter. Not when you're moving on in your life. They're not going to slow you down. And one thing I learned, family, is sometimes when people leave your lives and things that we thought were opportunities leave our lives, that's addition by subtraction. When you get rid of the things and the people that no longer serve you, it's addition by subtraction. When you are able to overcome yourself, overcome these feeling states, overcome these individuals that are in your life as dead weight, and remove those people from your life, family, you are able to move forward and heal and be happy and healthy. And one thing that I learned as I listened to these thought leaders is that thoughts are the language of the brain and feelings are the language of the body. And how we think and how we feel plays a pivotal, important role in how we design our lives. We're moving forward. Let me get closer. We're moving forward. And we're moving forward because we don't have time to be in the back. We're moving forward because we don't have time to live in the past. Because guess what? Those same people that said those negative things about you have to watch you win. The same individuals that spoke bad on your name have to watch you win. And they won't see you, but they'll see you. They won't see you. And I don't wish anybody bad. God knows we wish them the best. But at the end of the day, you are the main character of your own story. So while they are watching, you are going to give them a show. And what does that mean? Again, that means that you are going to have some self-improvement, that you are going to do the things that make you better, that you are going to do the things that make you stronger and help you to remain as the new version of self. Because you're going to go from a familiar past to an unknown and better future that you are able to co-create, right? Because that's the best way to be. We're no longer living cause and effect. We're living to cause and effect, right? This is not a knee-jerk reaction. You hit the knee, your leg jumps. No, we're not living knee-jerk reaction. We're not just going with the flow of everything. We are taking our life and creating the best life that we want and helping to create the best outcomes for us. We're moving in a way that allows us to be healthy and to be healed and not concerning ourselves with what we've been through. I get it. Who you were, where you've come from definitely allows you to get to where you need to be. Always remember, be humble and be thankful for what you have. But in this season, family, let's focus on who we're becoming. As you are the main character of your own story, the main character of their own story focuses on themselves, their belief, their family, the things that they got going on, and their story. You do not even have the capacity to focus on the people that are watching you, speaking negatively of you. You don't have time to focus on that. Right now, your focus is on building a better future. Right now, your focus is on taking over the world. Right now, your focus is on not just putting on a show for them, but putting on one for yourself. For yourself, you have what it takes to be great, family. We all do. You have what it takes to be great. And I really believe that sometimes we believe that miracles can happen, but we don't necessarily believe that miracles can happen for us. We believe that good breaks, lucky breaks, blessings, relationships, weddings, finances, windfalls can happen for other people, but we don't necessarily believe that it can happen for us. And I'm telling you right now, family, it can happen for you. That you can be the total package, that you can have that wife that you want, that husband that you want, that family that you want, that mate that you want. You can have every single thing that you want in your life. But you only can have it once you honestly believe that you are it. When you honestly believe, that you're not just trying to be something, you are it, right? And we're no longer going to the past. When you're looking for something, you're separate from it. And when you're separate from it, you're not it. So as you're it, you're focused on your present moment and moving to the future. That's exactly what you're doing. Let them watch. Let them talk. Let them say whatever they want. At the end of the day, they'll be talking about you, and then they'll go from talking about you to talking about how they met you. They'll go from talking about you to talking about what you did for them and who you were to them. It doesn't matter. Because one of the things I always say when it comes to people that hurt us or opportunities that we thought were opportunities but were not, the best of those individuals' lives is behind them. But the best of your life That's in front of you. The best of your life is in front of you. And do you believe it? Let me take a second and pause. Because I really want you to think about this. Do you believe that the best of your life is in front of you? I'll wait. And do you truly believe it? Not just believing it in your mind and, believing it with your words, but not as a total person and a total body believing it. Is your heart and your mind in coherence? Do you believe it in your heart and believe it in your mind that you have what it takes to live a great life? And you have to believe it, because if you just believe it with your words, but subconsciously you're thinking negative thoughts about yourself, then you don't believe it. So I'm going to ask you again, do you believe it for yourself? And if you do, please continue watching this video, because at the end of the day, where you are going, everybody can't go. The things that you're doing, everybody can't do. What you're on, they're not on. And as you architect your life, as you create this new blueprint for your life, as you put yourself on, of course, they're all going to be watching. Why wouldn't they? Because the person that they left you as is 100% absolutely not the person that you are today. What else are they going to do? What else are they going to do? Family butt watch. What else? Because it's so funny how when a person leaves your life, they leave you thinking that you will always be the same, but you are not. When a job lays you off, their assumption is that you're not going to go any further, but you are. They're all watching. Give them a show. And you're going to give them a show by who you are becoming, the things that you're deciding to do, the people that you're allowing in your life, how you're moving forward, what you're doing, your new skills, your new friends, your new environments, your new look, your new you. And when you become this new person, family, you're going to see you start attracting more. Money starts coming to you easily. Relationships, the things that you no longer want in your life just tend to just fall away without you even doing much, right? Good things are continuing to happen for you. Lucky breaks are happening. What do they say? Luck is when preparation meets the opportunity. You are prepared. You're prepared because mentally you've made up your mind that you're going to be prepared. You're prepared because you are no longer afraid of walking into the unknown. You're prepared because you're no longer living in the familiar past, creating these predictable futures. You're prepared because you decided to be. You're prepared because you made a choice to be. You're prepared because you said, you know what? I'm done. I'm done living in lack. I'm done being angry. I'm done living in frustration. I'm done being broke. I'm done not being the best version of myself. You are moving forward. I'll wait. Tell me I'm lying. Right? You're moving forward. And I know it's hard, family. It's like whenever you make a decision, whenever you make a decree that you're going to do something great, you set a goal, you create an intention. Whenever that happens, I do understand that obstacles and things happen along the way that try to throw you off your game. I get that. I get that things happen that try to throw you off your game. But you're moving forward. And you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you. How much longer are you going to live in this pain? And this pain of this self that you're identifying with, that's not even who you are. How much longer are you going to live in this frustration? And this is not even who you authentically are. This is not who God, whoever the universe, whatever you believe, this is not how you were created to be. You were created to be whole. WHOLE. You were created to be whole. And you can't be whole living in lack. And you can't be whole wanting. And you can't be whole not feeling you're at your best. Because family, at the end of the day, when you make a choice to go from living a life of default to living a life of intention, intentionally things change. The people around you change. The way you see things change. Let them watch. It doesn't even matter. What are they going to say? What can they say? I'll wait. That you're not this and that you're not that and that you used to do this and you used to be that. You're a new self. You can't even identify with your old self because as you're moving forward, you're a new self. What are they going to say? And no matter what they say, it doesn't even have an impact on you because you're moving forward with your life. When you make a decision to be great, that decision did not include them. When you made a decision to be great, that decision did not include what they're thinking about you, what they're saying about you. You're moving forward. We are no longer waking up in the morning and those thoughts downloading all in our mind. And now our day today was exactly like our day yesterday because we're unable to overcome the hurt of the past. Absolutely not. When you're moving forward to a new future, that future is not predictable. That's why they call it in the unknown. That's why they call it the unknown. It's scary because it is absolutely the unknown. But the unknown, I guarantee you, could be so much better than that familiar past. You already know what that feels like. You know what that looks like. You know what that's going to come with. Why would you want that again for your life? You don't. But guess what? Those people that hurt you, they want you to want that for your life. They want you to stay down. Those jobs that laid you off, they want you to stay down, but you're not staying down because you get up. Every single time, you the chosen one. Let me say it louder for the chosen ones in the back to hear. You get up every time. Every single time. There is no one that's going to stop you. There is nothing that's going to come in your way. There is nothing that can happen that you cannot overcome because at the end of the day, you have made a choice to get up and go. And when I looked myself in the mirror, I said, Nicole, are you going to live in this familiar past? Or are you going to design and architect your life in such a way that you become unrecognizable to you? Are you going to wake up and do the whole new glow up and become a better person and become a more attractive person and become successful and dominate your life, dominate the business field, dominate your family life, dominate your relationship, dominate everything across the board? And the only way, family, that I was able to overcome these negative thoughts, overcome these ill feelings, overcome these bad things happening to me, the only way I was able to do that is when I overcame myself. I had to overcome myself because I was the only one that's stopping me. And look at your life. Are you stopping yourself? I'll wait. Are you blocking your own blessing? Is there something that you're doing in your life that's causing you to set yourself back? Ask yourself that. I will wait. Because a lot of times, yes, external factors impact us and impact our lives and our finances and our ability to grow and our ability to make money. But sometimes we are in the way of our own selves. And sometimes we block our own blessings. So we have to take a look at ourselves and ask ourselves, what are we doing to block our own blessings? And sometimes concerning yourself with people, concerning yourself with what people think of you, right? Who don't love you, who aren't in your inner circle, who don't care about you. Sometimes that's you blocking your blessing. And I do understand that feedback is good. You know, constructive criticism is a blessing. You know, people can help you. Some people have your best interests at heart. But for those that don't, their opinions don't matter in your life, not when you're dominating your life. Family, we have such a finite amount of time here on this earth. We don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. We wake up, and there are some people that didn't wake up. We have no idea what the future holds for us. We have no idea what these new days hold for us, what these new opportunities hold for us. We don't know. So guess what? All we can do is be optimistic and be prayerful and thankful that we get another opportunity to do it again and do it again better than we did yesterday. Because like I said earlier, true change is waking up and making a decision to do something new and different. Let them watch. Let them watch. It doesn't matter. Let me get closer. Let them watch. At the end of your day, your future matters more than someone's opinion of you. And at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter what they say because you're not even that same person that they're talking about. You're a different, better, and new person. You're a different and better and new person that's doing different and better things and moving in different and better places and hanging in different and better environments with different and better people with different and more money. That's what you're doing right now with your life. And you have to believe it. You have to believe it for yourself. Nobody can believe that for you but you. And I know I sound like I'm going hard, and I'm really not, y'all. I'm like the sweetest person you'll ever meet. I'm not trying to go hard. I'm keeping it a band. I'm keeping it 100 with you. At the end of the day, you gotta know that you're moving forward with your life and that things will be better. And there's always better waiting, and that you're being motivated and you're living the best life that you can live and you're doing the best things that you can do. And there are people surrounded around you who actually love you, and the ones that don't are being removed from your life, and you're getting more skills, more knowledge, more education. The finances are coming, the husband, the wife, the children, the house, any single and every single thing that you want in your life is making its way to you. But you have to make a choice. So what is your choice going to be? What is your choice going to be? Are you living in lack? Do you want to continue doing the same thing that you're doing over and over as the same version of yourself, waiting for things to happen? Are you going to continue to do the same things over and over that you've been doing, expecting a different result? Are you going to continue to be the same person that you've been hoping and praying and wishing that things would get better? And if you continue to do that, family, and maybe there's nothing wrong with that, but if you continue to do that, I want you to know that that is living a life by default, and that is not living an intentional life. So if you want people to watch you, if you want to watch yourself and live that life, more power to you, right? It takes all kinds to run the world. But when you're chosen, you don't get the right to live life on your own terms. When you're chosen, you have to move forward. You have to be great because it's not even going to feel good. When you just sit and chill and allow things to happen to you, as a chosen person, that doesn't feel good. It never, ever does. What feels good is you moving on with your life. What feels good is you becoming a better person. What feels good is for you to be whole and to have all the things and the players and the people and to continue to strive and make your way to your highest and best self. That feels good. So family, I'm going to let you know one last time. They are all watching. People who told you they don't like you anymore. People who said that they don't fool with you anymore, opportunities that you thought were opportunities that are no longer there, these jobs that let you go. Listen, they're all watching. And you're going to give them a show. Just something to think about. Stay inspired. Hey, family, a lot of times we go through life and we go through our day dealing with individuals that have an impact on how we feel, an impact on our career, an impact on who we are. But family, I want to remind you that it doesn't matter what a person says about you because you know who you are, right? A lot of times people will try to water you down, make you feel like you're less than who you are. That is absolutely not the case. You are a very important person and becoming an even more important person. And you know why? Because the signs are there. Not just because you're chosen, the signs are there. So I'm going to give you some signs to let you know your level of importance and the things that you do is really bothering and aggravating other people's spirits to the point where they may say negative things about you, but they can't hold you down. Sign number 1, your level of influence is increasing. It's increasing everywhere you go, everyone you talk to, everything you do. Everybody wants to be a part of your show. Everyone is motivated by your life, motivated by the decisions that you're making, motivated by the path that you're taking in your own life, and motivated by your ability to want to do more and be more and have more. So if you're all the things that someone negative is saying about you, how could you be growing? How could your level of influence be growing, right? Because they're giving you energy to be better. All the negative things that they're saying about you is making you better and making you stronger. And that's facts, right? People always have something to say about what you should do different, how you should handle yourself, how you should handle your business. But at the end of the day, family, you know who you are. You know who you are, and you have to know you're important, because if you weren't important, you wouldn't have all the attacks coming towards you. You wouldn't have all the people bothering you, stressing you out, saying negative things, trying to figure out who you are. You have to know that you're onward and you're moving onward and onward and going better than where you ever were before. You have to know it, family. Another way to realize your level of importance is look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. You are now becoming a problem solver. You're solving problems, right? One problem you solved was, if this person is not good to me, they're not going to be in my life. Problem solved, right? Because where you're going, everybody can't go. And they don't get the right to treat you any kind of way. This is your life. If they don't show up well in your life, then they don't get to be in your life. And that's period. Point blank. If they don't show up, they don't get to be in your life. Because where you're going in your life, you can't take everybody, family. You cannot take everyone. There is not enough room for negativity. There's only room for you and the people that support you and love you. And that's how you know you're important. You're starting to do away with things that you no longer need. You're starting to shake off things that no longer serve you. You're starting to not do the vices that you used to be doing. You're not going to the places that you used to go. You're changing your environment. You're becoming a different and better person. That's how you know you're elevating. And when you're becoming more of an important person, you have no choice but to move up. You have no choice but to become better. You have no choice but to become stronger. You have no choice but to elevate. And they see it, family, and they don't like it. They see the elevation, but they do not like it. And that's okay. Because as you're becoming an important person, they may not see you as important, but you are. Another thing you're going to start seeing in your life as you begin to elevate and become more important is everybody's going to want to invite you to their events. They're going to want you to come to their shows. They're going to want you to support their things. You're going to want to be a part of it. You're going to want to network more and do more. You know why? Because when you come out of bad situations, right, dealing with people who have held you down, dealing in relationships that were not healthy for you, you are able to grow, right? And meet new people, right? New people to be in relationships with, people who support you and love you, motivate you, and help you get to that next level where you need to go. That's how you know you're becoming more important, because you're no longer dealing in these spaces with these people that can care less about you. Why would you do that anymore? Because their only goal was to hold you down. Their only goal was to keep you where you were at, because they knew how powerful you are. And they knew, if I allow this person to go, they're going to go and grow, right? They're going to go and they're no longer going to be doing the things I'm doing. They're no longer going to be a part of this life, because they know it, right, family? As you're growing and becoming more important and becoming a better version of yourself, you have no time and no room for negativity. You have no time and no room to waste your time with individuals that have nothing good for you, nothing good to offer. You have no time to waste your time to be in environments that no longer serve you and that are not healthy. Because as you're becoming an important person, all of those things and people are going to fall away. And you're going to meet new people, and you're going to be in new environments, and that's going to require a new you. That's going to require a new self. When you're developing yourself and when you're talking about personal development, you can't take that old self into something new. You can't. You can't take that old version of self into something new. You can only take that new version of self, right? And as you're becoming more important and doing more in your life, you got to know that you can only take that new version of self. Yeah, you have old habits and things that you like, great parts of your personality that are great, that you can take with you to your future. But that highest and best version of yourself that's waiting on you is not entertaining in the things that no longer serve you. And as you're becoming a better and stronger and faster person, you have to find a way to do away with the things that aren't serving you. So as people continue to invite you to these places, to want to network with you, to want to do more, you have to be open to it, right? You have to be open to it, because you never know what opportunities can come your way if you just open your heart and you just try to do something new and different. And another way to know that you're becoming important, family, is you're going to start to see good things are coming to you. Good things are going to be coming to you easily and effortlessly. It's like you're going to think a thought, and next thing you know, that thought is going to come to pass. You're going to manifest this new version of self. You're going to become a better and greater and different and new person, right? Because your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. And you're going to start thinking better thoughts, and you're going to start acting better, and you're going to start feeling good, being in good feeling states. And now you're going to have the ability to create new days and have the ability to do new things. I always say, when we wake up in the morning, let's say, for example, you're going through something bad. I don't know, a bad situation, a loss of a friend, a loss of a loved one, a divorce, or a breakup. Have you ever been in a situation where when you wake up, all those thoughts just start to download in your head, right? The minute you wake up, those thoughts start to download. And family, one of the things I've learned is right when you wake up and you feel those thoughts starting to download, you have to go in and inadvertently change your mind. Think new thoughts, replace those thoughts. What I do is right when I'm laying in the bed, I wake up, and right before, I get out of the bed, I say my prayers, I set my good intentions, and I close my eyes, and I create the day the way I want my day to go. I create the day the way I want it to go. That way I'm not focused on the negative things, because family, if you keep your mind in the past, right? If you keep your mind in a familiar past, then you will always have a predictable future. What does that mean? That means those same thoughts that you thought yesterday, you now brought those thoughts into today. So essentially, today is not a new day. Today is your yesterday. And we can't keep having our new days be our yesterdays. No, we want our new days to be our new days. So we have to start taking our thoughts captive, making them our own. And as we grow to become more important people, we have to get control of our mind, right? Because I learned another lesson I learned too on a personal note, that just because you think it does not mean it's true. Just because you think something does not make it true. And a lot of times when we get doors closed, right? Opportunities closed. Maybe we took a risk on something, it didn't work. Maybe we took an opportunity and a risk on a person and that didn't work. But when the doors close, it weighs heavy on us. And now we start feeling heavy, like, oh man, maybe it's me. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I could have done something different. But family, you're doing everything that you can, as long as you're keeping your thoughts up, as long as you're keeping your mind up, as long as you're keeping your life up, you're networking, you're becoming influential, you're doing more. And when you realize that you're changing, it is because you're making a choice. It is because you're deciding to quiet the noise and not listen to everything everyone else has to say about you, about your decisions, about what you're doing, about how you're living your life. You're quieting the noise. And when you get to that point where you quiet the noise, that's when you make true change in your life. Because what is change? Change is waking up and making the decision to do something different. That's all change is. You make a decision that you're going to do something new and different than you did the day before. New and different than you did the day before. So let me take a step back. I know I'm talking about us being important, but let me take a step back and I want to touch on, rejection or a person leaving our life, because I noticed that, a lot of the messages I'm getting is, what do you do when someone leaves your life? What do you do when you feel like something can be so much better than it is and now it's over? Who are we? What do we do? Let me tell you what you do. You allow it. You allow it. When someone decides that they want to leave your life, what can you do? You can't force a person to stay. And I know it hurts, right? I've been in my past, before I've been, in a relationship and married, I had a divorce. So I know what it feels like when a person leaves your life and the pain that brings, right? I know the pain that brings. But when a person decides to leave your life, family, you have to let them. Because at the end of the day, when you're moving forward, everything you need is in front of you, not behind you, right? So go through the pain, go through the grief, go through the hurt, but understand and know that on the other side of that is going to be a brand new, better version of yourself. And if you keep moving forward, a lesson I learned, family, those same people, very, very same people who say that they don't need you. Hey, just checking on you, just texting you to see how you're doing. I saw your video, they never go anywhere. You know why? Because it's not designed for them to. Because you're chosen. And when a person does a chosen one wrong, they bring so much misfortune, so much calamity, so much stress on their life that you almost don't have to do anything. And it's a good thing that you're moving on, because you don't want to be a part of that mess that they're in. No, you're moving forward. So again, getting back on topic of being an important person, when people reject you and hurt you, you let it be. You move on with your life. No need to seek revenge. The best revenge is happiness. The best revenge is moving forward. The best revenge is waking up each day and making a change and deciding that you want your day to be better than your day was yesterday. It is making a decision. And when you're onward and onward, and when you're moving forward, you have to remind yourself and tell yourself that every single thing that I need is in front of me. Every single thing that I want is ahead of me. Everything that inspires me, that's good to me, that I love, that loves me, is in front of me. And you have to tell yourself this, family, because it is designed for your mind to play tricks on you. It is designed for your mind to tell you you'll never be anything, you'll never have anything. Everything that person told you about you was true. You'll never overcome this vice. You'll never overcome this addiction. It's designed to do that. But when you overcome yourself, if you can overcome yourself, you can overcome the world. If you can overcome your thoughts, you can overcome everything. Family, I say it because it's true and I mean it. If you can overcome your thoughts, you can overcome everything. And I want you to know, family, that you have what it takes to continue to become important. How many times in our lives can we look back and say, you know what? I wish I would have done this differently, right? I wish I would have took a different step. I wish I would have handled this situation different. I wish I would have spent more time with this person. How much more times are we going to live in regret? How much more times are we going to not forgive ourselves for the things that we've done? It's time to get beyond that. This is the year to get beyond ourselves and get over ourselves, because we are the only ones standing in the way of our greatness. Period. We are important. When people try to tell you you're not, it's a lie. Like I always say, it's all cap. When they try to tell you you're not important, that is a lie. They know you're important. And as you progress and move about in your life, as you progress and do more and have more, you're going to become more. And the same people, the same environments, the same things are going to realize how much they needed you. Family, when you move on with your life and become important, that aggravates people's spirits because now they don't know what to do. You're not concerned with what they're saying. You're not concerned with what they're doing. You're not concerned with who they're with. You're not concerned where they are. You love them, you bless them, and you say goodbye. Now, what are they going to do? There's no energy coming from you to them. What are they going to do? Right? And at the end of the day, as you're moving on and moving forward, again, we have to block out the noise, quiet the noise of what these individuals are telling you who you are, what you're not, what you don't have. We have to quiet the noise because family, at the end of the day, we cannot allow our minds to play tricks on us. We can't. When you're becoming important, when you're out there meeting new people and networking and dating and worshiping and doing whatever it is that's your thing, you do not have room to allow anything negative to come into that. You don't. You literally don't have energy, space, or time to allow anyone or anything to come in between what you are building for your future. And if something doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel good, family, and I'm not talking about all things. I know we, go through school and go through life and we have to make sacrifices and it doesn't always feel good. But family, if something doesn't feel good, right? And you have the ability to control that thing that doesn't feel good, you can remove yourself from that environment. You do not have to be a part of any friendship circle, any environment at work, any environment. You don't have to be a part of anything that's unhealthy for you. And I know it's not easy to leave everything. God knows, you have children, spouses, responsibilities. But for what it's worth, if it's something simple that you can remove yourself from, you remove yourself from it. Because when you're becoming important, people in your life have the ability to make you or break you. People in your life have the ability to help you get to where you need to be or take you back further than where you were in your past or back to where you currently are. And a lot of people don't want to be where they currently are. Because when you're becoming important, you can't allow those same people to keep you there. You have to grow. You're not just becoming important to stay where you are. No, you're becoming important to take it to that next step, to get to that next level of your life. You're not going to sit here and become important just to be around the same situation. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I already talked about it earlier. Your level of influence is increasing. So if your level of influence is increasing, family, you already know. You don't have time to take your new influence and your new self and cast your pearls amongst swine. Absolutely not. Let those people walk. They said those negative things about you. They don't like you. They talked about you. Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. And you know why it doesn't matter? It doesn't matter because it can't matter. It literally cannot matter. You have no space in your mind to concern yourself with the things people are saying about you when it doesn't matter. You are an important person. Do you think these CEOs out here concern themselves with what everybody says about their brand? You think you can pick up the phone and talk to the owner of a major brand just that simple? No. In the same way that these CEOs have protections over their lives, you have protections over your life. Right? And look at yourself as a own personal brand, as the CEO of your life, and manage and handle yourself accordingly. And as you're becoming even more important than you already are, everyone does not have that access to you. Everyone doesn't have that access to you like they used to. They absolutely do not. They do not get the right to have that same level of access to you that they used to have, because this is not that time. That is not this, and this is not that, right? You're becoming important. You're becoming a leader. You're solving problems. You're okay with the fact when people say that they're rejecting you. You're letting them and allowing them to walk away because you know something better and greater is coming for you. And everything in your life is coming to you effortless, and it feels good because it is good. And you don't have to work so hard for what you want because you're attracting all things. And your personality is made up of what you think, how you act, and how you feel. and you're acting great and you're feeling good and you're in good feeling states. And if you get into a moment where things don't feel good, as much as you can control it, you can remove yourself from that situation. You can remove yourself from this situation. Family, you have to protect your peace. You have to protect your heart, and you certainly have to protect your path. You have to. And you have to trust and know every single thing that you want is coming to you. It's already happening for you now. When things are being removed from you, when things are being stripped off of you, when everything is starting anew and growing anew, like spring, when everything is coming up, family, know that that's your life. Know that that's your life. If you are void of something in your life that you feel like you're missing, maybe you don't have a spouse or a husband or a wife, maybe you don't have the income that you want or the career that you want. No, it is coming. It is coming, and your time is now. And this is your season to reap your harvest. You've been working hard. You have been working so hard. Now is the time to reap your harvest. And because you're becoming an important person, everybody knows it and everybody sees it. Because you're becoming an important person, you feel it. You can feel it in the air. You can feel the change happening around you. You know and you can see that things are getting better in your life right now. Things are getting better in your life right now. If someone wants to leave your life right now, let them people leave. Because you irritate their demons anyway. You don't need those people in your life. They're not going anywhere. They will. I know people. It's been a year, 5 months, 2 years, and they still get that call back from the same person that told them they don't like them. They don't want them. They'll be nothing. They are nothing. Family, let me tell you something. The best thing that you can do as you're on your journey to becoming a more important person, the best thing and the best revenge that you can ever have is to be happy. The best revenge that you can and will ever have is to be happy. Let these people go. We got to get these out of our minds, right? These are soul ties. We got to get them out of our minds and put them under our feet. Under our feet so we can go about and start becoming that important person that we know we are designed to be. We know we're designed to be it. We got to start looking good and feeling good about ourselves and maintaining ourselves, maintaining our hygiene, maintaining our mind, and strengthening ourselves, strengthening our hearts, strengthening our souls so that we can prepare ourselves and open ourselves for greater, because we know greater is coming. We know greater is coming. Why wouldn't it come? You've worked so hard to get to this point. How many disappointments have you had? I'll wait. I know it's been a lot. I'll wait. How many disappointments have you had? How many setbacks have you had? Again, I'll wait. How many setbacks have you had? So you mean you came this far just to get this far? Absolutely not, family. You know who you are. And you know whose you are. And you know what you're not. And you got to start understanding that as you're becoming a more important person, you need strength too. So you've got to motivate yourself. Do what I said earlier. When you wake up, start to create the story in your mind about how your day is going to go. If a person wants to leave your life, allow it. I know it's hard. I know it hurts. But let it go. Let me get closer when I say that. I know it's hard and I know it hurts. Let it go. Let them go. Because where you are going is so much greater than anything and anyone. And you're not going to waste your life any longer if you're wasting your life. You're not going to waste your life. Let me tell you what you're not going to waste. You're not going to waste your life. You're not going to waste your time. You're not going to waste your energy. You're not going to waste your effort. You're going to do everything that you can do to continue on your trajectory and to continue on your journey of becoming this new and better person. You're not wasting any more time. You're not doing it. You're starting to network. You're going to get out there and start to meet people. You're a problem solver now, right? In order to be successful, you have to be a solution to a global problem. You are now a solution to a problem. That's how serious it is for you. You are so important. You are a solution person. You're solving everybody's problems. Everyone comes to you for advice anyway. You're the chosen one. They all come to you to help you to solve their lives. So you do not have time hanging out and wasting your own time in environments that no longer serve you, not when you're an important person. And I need you to know who you are. And I need you to have the willingness to be able to keep this up. And I know it's hard because change is hard. And sometimes you want to quit. Sometimes things get so hard, you want to stop midway and you want to quit. And I know you do because we've all been there. But you're not going to quit because you're becoming an important person. And when you walk the way is made, and you have too much more traction to cover, too much more problems to solve, too much more important people to meet, too much more events to attend, too much more tables to sit at. And guess what? In this season, you are the table. They're inviting you to their events, but they want to sit at your table because you're in your own lane. Doing things in your own lane, making moves in your own lane. You're in your own lane. Let these people go. Let these environments go that are not serving you. If there's something in your life you need to change, change it. And I know it's hard, but do the things every day, little by little, so that hard becomes easy. That way you can move about in your life. That way you can move about in your life and become better in your life. You have been promised such a great life. You have too much more ground to cover than to stay where you are. And for a lot of us, where we are is good. But when you go from good to great, it takes a new version of self. It takes a new you. When you go from good to great, you can't take this current you into the future. You can, but that just makes the future more good. But you have to make some tweaks and you have to make some changes so that you can be that best version of self as you move on into your new future, family. And I'm not just saying this, I'm living this. I'm living it, going from good to great, becoming a more important person. Family, your life is getting better. You're changing. You're doing new things. You're becoming different. You're developing new habits. You're becoming a better person. You're meeting new people. You're attracting things to you effortlessly. You're not even having to work hard for the things you used to work hard for because you're in preparation season. You're getting ready to get ready to get ready. You're getting ready to be ready to be ready. Every single thing is coming to you and you know it because I know it. And then you're going to have what's called an and suddenly moment. And suddenly I'm great. And suddenly I'm important. And suddenly my life changed overnight. And you're going to think it's an and suddenly, but you're going to know deep in your heart, you worked so hard to get to where you are. It wasn't an and suddenly. It was hard work. It was you going from good to great. It was you accepting the fact that you're already important and becoming even more important. It was you that decided to let go of the people that hurt you. It was you that decided to stop with the vices and the addictions that were no longer serving you. It was you that decided that you no longer wanted to be in that environment. It was you that decided that you wanted to be more important. You have God, whatever it is that you serve, the universe, whatever it is that you serve, you have you and you have support. And you are not doing this alone. Some of us have spouses. Some of us have family. Some of us have friends. You're not doing this alone. And at the end of the day, when you're working towards becoming a new, different, and great and more important person, you have to understand that you are not in any way doing this alone. So now what are you going to do, family? Now you've heard this message, right? It feels good, but we don't just want to feel good. We want to be good. So now what are you going to do? What are you going to do to be good? Are you going to just listen to this message and then scroll to another one, listen to that and scroll? No, we're going to make changes in our lives now. We're going to be the change that we want to see right now. We're going to do the things that we need to do right now in this season because we have what it takes to get to where we need to be and to become who we need to be. That's it. There's nothing more. We're going to change. And when the people come back, family, listen to me. Now you're more important than who you used to be, right? They're going to call. They want to come back in your life. Who doesn't want to be a part of something great? Who doesn't want to have good energy? They're going to see you. They're going to see you on social media. They're going to see you in the community. They're going to see some of us on TV. They're going to see the changes that you're making. Why wouldn't they want to come back? You're important now. They all want to come back when you're important. They knew that you were chosen when they were with you. They knew that you were chosen when they had you in their presence, but they fumbled the ball. So what are you going to do now that they fumbled the ball? You going to let them back in your life? You are absolutely not. You know why? Because it's not even going to feel good if you do. How many times in our past have we let someone back in our lives that they left our lives, we were sad, hurt, and we finally got over the hurt and pain just to let them back in their lives, and it didn't feel good. You don't want those people back in your life, family. You don't need them in your life anymore. You are an important person. And important people do important things with other important people. And when you needed them the most, where were they? When you needed their assistance, where were they? When you needed that job and that job laid you off, look at you now. You're doing so much better than you ever were doing ever. So why wouldn't they want to come back? So your life, right? And this is what I tell people. Your heart has a door, right? This door, it opens and closes, right? Right? But you have a lock and a key, right? And you have to lock that heart. And no one opens that key, that lock on your heart but you. Everyone doesn't get access to you so easily. Remember what I said earlier, you're a brand. Everyone doesn't get access so easily to a personal brand. No, they do not. Because you're important now. They can leave you a message. Hey, how are you? I'm sorry, I can't come to the phone. Leave me a message. I'll get right back to you. That's where you're at with them. They're on a need-to-know basis. They won't see you, but they'll see you. They all know that you're important. They knew you weren't important when they had you in their life. They fumbled the ball. Now you're networking. You're meeting new people. You're doing new things. You're a problem solver. You're becoming a better version of self. You're doing all the things that you've always wanted to do. And you're probably doing it because they're no longer in your life. You're probably doing it because you're thinking better thoughts and creating your day, because your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, how you feel. So now you're thinking better, feeling better, and acting better. You probably did it because you removed yourself from that old environment that no longer serves you. You're probably doing it because you want more for yourself. I'll wait. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I'll wait. When you're becoming more important, you don't have time to go backwards, because every single thing that you need, every person that you need, everything that you want, every answer, every solution, every good thing, every problem is in front of you, and it is not behind you. You are no longer looking back. There is nothing back there for you. Every single thing that you need is in front of you. Every single thing that you need, every person that you want, everything you want to do, everything that you're a part of, every single thing that you need and that you want is in front of you, because you're an important person. You are so important. You are so important. Let them have a seat, pull a ticket, and when you're ready, you'll call them to the center of your life. That's the level that you want with everyone. They're on a need-to-know basis. You'll let them know when they need to know. But right now, you're moving forward, onward, and onward, and you're developing yourself personally, and you do not have time for the foolishness. Family, listen to me. Every single thing that you want is in front of you. It is not behind you. You are and becoming more of an important person. You need your time to network, to drive, to do the things, to create an impact. You need all of your mind to do this. And you do not have time to associate yourself with the vices and the things that you've done in the past, because you are moving forward. Every single good thing that you want is in front of you. Remember that. Stay inspired. Hey, family, there are so many people out there that doubted you, spoke negatively about you, said ill and terrible things about you, but you're still going to win. You keep winning. And I just want to share with you, family, a few signs so that you can know that you are on the right path and that you're doing all the right things, and that God is going to bless you all in front of your haters' faces. Sign number 1, every single thing that you worked for is coming to fruition. Everything you've done, all the hard work you've done in the past, all the seeds that you have sown in your life and the life of others, it's all coming to fruition. And I know that there may be opposition, things along the way that stop you, things along the way that challenge your growth. But at the end of the day, family, everything that you worked hard for is still coming to fruition. And it's coming to fruition, and they have to watch you eat. They don't want to, but they have to watch you eat. They have to see you win. Sometimes the same people who told you you'll never be nothing, you'll never amount to anything, blah, 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 they have to watch you win, because all of your blessings are coming into fruition in this season right now. And another sign that God is blessing you all in their face, they have to watch you win. They won't see you, but they'll see you. They won't physically see you, but they're going to see you. They're going to hear about you. They're going to hear things. I'm telling you, because whenever you're on your journey to greatness, whenever you're growing, you're about to pop, you're making your dreams come true. They all see it, family. And I always say, you don't think they're watching, but everybody is watching. And while everybody is watching, you might as well give them a show. While everyone is watching, give them a show. They doubted you. They told you that you wouldn't be great. They told you that they didn't think that you'd amount to anything. And look at you now, still striving on your journey to personal development, still continuing and growing in your goals, still doing the things that it takes to get you where you need to be, despite the opposition. Like I always say, it doesn't matter what they say, because it can't matter, because you can't concern yourself with what someone thinks of you, with what someone's saying of you, because it is none of your business and it is none of your concern. And it can't be. And they want it to be your concern. They want to know that they have what it takes to stop you on your greatness. I remember I had a friend, right? And he had a breakup. And the girl told him, you will never meet someone like me. But he met better, right? And sometimes people always tell us, what we're not, what we want to. You'll never meet a person like me. But what happens when you do? What happens when you meet better? What happens when you have better? And I use it as an example to say, family, you're always going better. You're moving upward, forward, onward, and yonward, and nothing is going to stop you on your journey to greatness. Nothing is going to stop you to get where you need to go. Nothing is going to stop you to move forward and to move ahead and take strides to becoming that great person, because God is blessing you in front of everyone, and there's nothing that they can do about it. So they won't see you. But trust me, they will see you. Another sign that you know that God is blessing you all in your haters' faces, your doubters' faces, is that they used to talk about you. But they'll go from talking about you to talking about how they knew you. They'll go from talking about you to talking about how they met you, right? They'll go from talking about you negatively to talking about how they knew you, how they met you. I remember when me and so-and-so used to go to school. I remember when me and so-and-so, it's all cap. Please, it's all cap. Because at the end of the day, the same people that hated on you have no choice but to respect you, because they are watching your come up. They're watching it and they can't believe it. Little old you, right? The same person that they doubted, they're watching your come up. And that's a hard watch. Because you're really coming up. That's a hard watch. What do you do when you leave someone at what you perceive as the bottom and they rose to the top? You completely, it's like the story of the turtle and the hare. Remember, we were young, we heard the story, and they were running that race, and the hare was so far in front of the turtle that he wanted to rest. And by the time he woke up, that turtle was crossing the finish line because he underestimated him. And those people underestimated you. At the same time that they thought that you were done, you were just getting started. And I heard a proverb before, and it said, you tried to bury me, but you didn't know that I was a seed. Family, a lot of people tried to bury you, but they had absolutely no idea who you were, absolutely no idea that you were a seed, absolutely no idea that you would overcome, grow, dominate, and change the game, and change the trajectory of your life, and change the trajectory of the life of those around you. They had no idea that you would do it, but you did, and here you are. So now they go from talking about you to talking about how they knew you, because they had no idea in their mind that you would become the person that you've become today, and that you would overcome the things that you've overcome. Another sign that God is blessing you all in your haters' face is, you've overcome so much opposition. So many things came in your way to stop you, to block you, to keep you slowed down, to not allow you to move forward on your goals, move forward on your dreams. It was all designed to stop you, but you still won. I'll wait. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. I'll wait. You still won. because nothing stopped you from your journey. Because I truly do believe when God has something for you, there is nothing and no one that can stop that trajectory but you. And you've decided to move up and move forward with your life despite opposition. So now they have to watch. So now they have to see you grow. So now they have to see you overcome all of the opposition that came your way. Now they have to watch you overcome all the things that was put in your path, the traps, the snares, that stop you. And it never, ever stopped you. And finally, family, one of the other signs that I've seen to where God is blessing you in front of everyone's face, doors continue to open for you. And not just regular doors. I mean, doors from unexpected places. Money will start flowing to you easily. People will start coming into your life. Those relationships that you're desiring will find their way to you. Every single thing is working in your favor. Every single thing is working in your favor. Every single thing is coming towards you and coming for you and strengthening you and making you a better person. And your doors are being open to receive all the good and great things that God has for you, the universe, the world. Every single thing is coming your way in front of your haters. The same people that doubted you and told you you would never make it. Here you are. You made it. I'll wait. And you're not just stopping. You're starting. Like, this is your start. If they think they've seen something, they ain't seen nothing yet. They have seen nothing yet, because at the end of the day, this is your great start. And family, I say all that to say, and I say all that to let you know that sometimes we have to be reminded of who we are, right? When we're working in our day-to-day, getting up, taking care of children, going to work, doing these things, we have to be reminded of who we are, because it's so easy to forget who you are, especially when you're on your journey to greatness, especially when you're doing the same things day in and day out. And one of the things I always say is a lot of times we miss opportunities because they're dressed in overalls and they look like work. Right? So everything you do looks like work. Everything you do is dressed in opportunity. It doesn't appear to be what it is, but I'm telling you, family, it is what it is. And it is you growing, changing, motivating, inspiring, and becoming that better person. Every single thing that you're doing is working for you in your favor. Every single place that you go to, it's all adding up. These are all seeds that you are planting in your life that's taking you to a greater place. These are all seeds that are designed to make you better, faster, stronger. These are all seeds. So yes, the people are going to hate. The haters are going to come. The opposers, the doubters. You know what? I don't think that you should do that with your life. I think that's a bad idea. I think you should focus on this. Well, family, they're only saying that because in their life, they didn't accomplish the goals that they set for themselves. So now, because they were a failure in their own life, not all of them, but some of them, they were a failure in their own life. Now they want to tell you what to do with your life. So they're essentially projecting onto you the areas that they failed at. We're not going to let that happen, because you're being blessed all in the hater's face. And we're not going to let the opposition come and tell us what we're not. And I know, family, sometimes things happen to knock you down. Things happen to challenge your reality. Things happen to make you truly think and ask yourself, is this for me? Is this what's meant to be for me? You know what I mean? Is this what's designed for me? And sometimes, family, we want to stop, but guess what? A delay is not a denial. You may have put that dream down, pick it back up, keep it moving, because they're watching. And not just because they're watching, because you are deserving of an extraordinary life. You are deserving of so much better than you're giving yourself now, right? So if they are all watching, give them a show. And the show you're giving them is your real life. Like, you're really doing this. You're really going hard. You're really striving hard. You're really making change. You're really affecting change. You're really becoming the person that you knew you always could be. The same person that they doubted, the same person that they thought they buried, they did not know that you were a seed. But now they know. And now they see it. And they have to watch you win. They have no choice. They have to watch you win everywhere they go, every conversation they have, every move they make. It's a constant reminder of you. It's a constant reminder of what they had with you. And sometimes, family, that is all people need, to realize the mistake that they made and see that they dropped the ball. They fumbled the bag, they dropped the ball, because they have to watch you win and they have to watch you eat. And the sad part is they cannot eat with you. They can only watch you. They can't eat with you. They can't go on this journey with you. You're just getting started. and they're sunsetting because the best part of their life is behind them. But the best part of your life is in front of you, and you know it. Stay inspired. Hey family, I think it is really hard for us to look at our life if we're not where we want to be. And then we look at someone else's life and we compare our life to their life, right? Maybe we feel like we should have more money than we do, or we should be further along in life than we are. Maybe we feel like we should have a family or kids or a marriage or a better career. It's so easy to look at social media and compare ourselves to other people that have what we think we want, right? But sometimes when you look back in your life, family, hindsight being 2020, aren't you happy that you didn't get the thing that you thought you wanted in the past? Aren't you happy that that relationship with that person didn't work out, that that situation with that job didn't work out? Family, everything that you want is ahead of you. Everything that you want is in front of you, waiting for you, family. And one of the things I realize about life is a lot of it is a test. And the way I do things, I say, you know what? I am a scientist. My life is a science experiment. So I observe my life, the decisions and the choices I make, the places that I choose to be in, the people that I choose to surround myself with. And instead of making comparisons, I take all that energy back, because I've done it before and compared myself to people and things, but I take all that energy back and I put that energy within myself. And that's energy for me to heal, energy for me to grow, energy for me to become a better person, right? Energy for me to look at my life and make some tweaks and right those wrongs. How many of us know people that are in relationships where they're not that happy, right? Or in careers where maybe they make a lot of money, but they're miserable, they're losing their time, right? So sometimes not having what you want and not being where you deem you want to be is an unfair advantage to you, because it gives you an opportunity to do the things in your life to get to where you need to be. It gives you the opportunity to get closer to following your dreams and your goals. And things are never, ever falling apart, family. They are always falling together. They are. I used to look at rejection as a bad thing. Oh man, this relationship didn't work out, or this person didn't want me, or they didn't choose me for this team, or they didn't choose me for this job or this career or that situation. And then I realized rejection is protection. It really is. Hindsight being 2020, rejection is protection, family. Because how many doors have closed on us? When we look back, we are happy that that door closed, or we are happy that we didn't get the thing that we thought we wanted, that we prayed for, right? There is always greater waiting ahead of us. And we are one decision away from becoming that person that we've always wanted to be, right? And when you love yourself and you feel worthy and you love all of life, you create an equal, you create that career, you generate that wealth and that income, everything good is coming to you. The hard part is believing it and staying encouraged. And that's why it's such a good practice in the morning. Before you get out of your bed, you have a morning ritual, whether that is prayer, you sitting, meditating, something that's keeping your mind, organizing your thoughts, and making your day better than it was before. Because true change happens when you decide that you're going to make a different decision than you did the day before. Family, when people leave your life, when things don't work out, when they reject you, family, know that something better is always waiting. And your time is coming. Your season is coming. Do not give up. Your season is coming, family. You are the chosen one. Always remember that. And don't let anyone make you feel like you are lesser than who you are. Stay inspired. I once heard a quote that said, "Your excuses are endless, but time isn't." Your excuses are endless, but time isn't. And family, if there's something you're wanting to do in your life, someone new that you're wanting to become, a new dream that you want to accomplish, I think today is a good day for us to move from the world of fear, excuses, and doubt and move into the world of dreams and abundance. I looked at myself in the mirror one day. I had a real conversation and I said, Nicole, you are not living, you are waiting. And the reality is, family, a lot of us are not living, we're waiting for opportunities to come, waiting for a spouse, waiting for a mate, waiting for more money, waiting for a career, waiting for more. But the reality is, when you love yourself and you love all of life, you create an equal. When you love yourself and you love all of life, everything that you want comes to you. Every single opportunity that you are wanting will come to you. Excuses are endless, but time isn't. Let's use our time wisely, family. What is that dream that you need to resurrect? I think now is a good time to resurrect it. Stay inspired.